in spring training baseball here on 96.5 The Fan. But John, what would it look like in the future if we had out of the CBA, the next CBA that is going to be negotiated starting in December? What if we had salary caps? Like what would that even look like? Because we all know in the NFL, like $300 million, $307 million is what the cap is, and you kind of have a feel of what that is and how teams navigate that. But in baseball, we really don't know how that would work. We don't know what is it 180 million? Is it a $220 million salary cap? What's that look like?
So it's funny because John Heyman, obviously, who's pretty ingrained, obviously, in baseball team, just in general in baseball, he had put out what he heard was the numbers they were going to try for in Major League Baseball with a cap number of between 260 and $280 million and a cap floor of around 140 to $160 million. And what I was trying to decide is, you need 24 of the 30 teams to vote on this thing, Gold. Would you have 24 of the 30 teams if that were the number? Because there's a huge part of me that wonders whether or not they're even capable of hitting that figure. Because I pulled up this year's payroll, for instance. The amount of teams who are under that 240 to 260 cap, let's just call it the 260 on the high end. There would be 6 teams above that threshold as it sits right now. And look, baseball has not discussed whether it'd be a hard or a soft cap or, like more like the NBA where you could pay over it, but of course be heavily penalized, especially year to year. The Royals, as it sits right now, would be over that tax payroll, depending on how you look at it. But there are teams like the Marlins, Guardians, White Sox, Rays, Rockies. There are far more teams, and this is the other part about it, that are below that threshold than the teams that are above it. Because we put it on the higher end and we say 160 because the higher end teams are saying, hey, you got to let us spend more and make the worst team spend less. There are 10 teams. It's actually 12 teams in baseball who spent less than $160 million last year, Gold. Half. So, if you're the players and if you're the owners, the players don't want a cap, straight up, in zero capacity. But if you're saying 12 of the teams have to spend somewhere between $80 to $100 million more, some cases it's $10 million or $20 million or $40 million, but wouldn't that be a good trade-off for you? And it would seem more balanced because I don't know how the hell the Dodgers would shed $130 million in payroll.
Well, it'd be a gradual
over time.
No matter what happens with this CBA, whatever they implement, if we truly get any progress on a cap or on a floor or anything like that in the future, it's not something that's going to be able to take effect like that. It's going to be something that drags out, and it could be like a 4 to 5 year implementation. Because of what you just said, you can't expect the Dodgers to have to just cut $100 million in salary in one offseason.
No. It would be it'd be a slow burn.
Yeah,
they'd say you have to be cap compliant in 5 years. But that would still be for them based on Shohei's contract and this other stuff, and
or you're grandfathered in. If you already signed the deal prior to this, then you're grandfathered in until that deal expires, kind of situation.
As anybody's contract that would push you over that's already under contract.
Correct.
That would give the Dodgers...
I'd still give them an advantage for a while, but
it means they couldn't add anybody for a while. That would be the challenge.
And any move with the CBA is about the future of baseball, and it's trying to solve the problem. So even if it's not solved by 2030, that's okay. Now, someone, I think, on the text line, it's interesting, they said, could you set from the 620, should they set the floor at the shared revenue number that the teams get? So that's your floor. Whatever that shared revenue dollar amount is that the teams are getting currently or will in the future, that's your floor.
Yeah.
Now, owners aren't going to like that. But
that's the problem. You're going to have to concede something to the players if you have any, and I do mean any chance of convincing these players to give a cap. Major League Baseball is the last standing union that still has a voice and a little bit of sway in the ownership part. The other ones just have to take their money. I think Vinny pointed it out on this show. It has happened in the NBA specifically. The NFL, not so much because it prints money. But the NBA, they have actually lowered numbers occasionally. Well, sorry, your share's not as much. We made a little bit less than we thought. And, with players, there is no, and this is the trouble, there is no guaranteed portion of the cap they get or don't get necessarily. They do have some numbers written in. But a team can spend whatever they want. And so, they get a certain portion of the revenue in the sense that every team can't just decide to pay players nothing, but they also have fully guaranteed contracts. And if they'll still give you that, are you interested in the cap?
Yeah, the fully guaranteed contract part is something, again, we just don't see in any other sport. So that is such an asset for as much as the issues that there might be for the players. That's something that, like, we know they're not going to be willing to ever cave on that. And so, like any negotiation, who's willing to cave a little bit on what? And this is why I think both sides are going to really dig in. And unfortunately, in 2027, we're going to miss baseball games. The question is it a month worth of games or is it 6 months worth of games?
I mean, but I guess,
I know it's a year. People are, probably thinking, hey, let's enjoy this baseball season. For sure. Just something to keep an eye on the horizon.
I guess if I look at it, though, and I guess this is the question I would have is, if you have more than half of the league not inside this cap compliance, who are you convincing to do this? Like, I mean, from the owner side, let's take the players out of it for a minute. There are 6 teams who are over that threshold from a payroll perspective, and the Braves are close. If it's the 240 number, the Braves are actually over, and the Cubs are actually over. So if you do the low end of the estimate, you got 8 teams who aren't cap compliant. And on the bottom end, you'd have another 12. So 20 teams. So your cap projections, what Hyman's saying Major League Baseball is kicking around, makes 20 of the 30 Major League Baseball teams not compliant. That's really weird, Gold. And I don't know how you convince these teams to do this. And this is, I guess, inevitably the problem, which is, what is the agreement that baseball is going to actually agree to on both sides here? Like, what is the figure? Is there a cap? Is it just, nope, let's just agree to keep sharing revenue and the system stays as it is? Because I have a hard time imagining either side budging on this because I don't know that they have enough owners to agree to numbers like that. And I don't think that the players will ever agree to a cap that isn't a big number on the cap end, or at least on the cap floor end. That might be why Heyman's number on the cap floor end is so high, and 12 teams would be below it. Are you impressed the Royals are above it?
Impressed? I don't know. I'm impressed. I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see that they would be in that position. But ultimately,
We're close to it, yeah.
Yeah, ultimately, this is still going to lead to a long, sustained issue of fans missing out on baseball games. And so I don't think we're going to ever get the cut and dry cap floor. The question is, is it a half-assed approach, basically, that they take? And so do we come out of the 2027 CBA with a situation where you have a little bit of both and there's some weird, confusing way that they're going to go about doing it? Because I would be shocked at this point, Cody, if we end up getting both what fans want, which is the floor and the cap.
No, I mean, but like the owners are never agreeing. Like, here's the thing, though. The owners would never agree to that floor without a cap. Like, are you crazy?
Nor should they.
No, agreed. Like, that'd be half of the teams who would have to, like, the Marlins would have to spend $80 additional million next year, And a lot of teams, even the Guardians would have to spend $50 million. Like, these teams have been doing this for a reason, and it is about profitability. And it's unfortunate because you and I talk about this all the time. It's not like NFL owners don't care about profit. I just was complaining about how Clark Hunt has been taking additional international games for years over competitive advantage for money, right? To increase the brand of the team, to increase the brand of the NFL. And I know the understanding of like, whoa, the more people watch the NFL, the more money for you, right? So you can make the argument of it's for you. But it's for selfish reasons, right? We know owners do things to make money. I got it. And some owners are worse at it than others, right? But it happens in the NBA and the NFL. Major League Baseball owners are not separate from that. But Major League Baseball is the only sport in which I have no minimum effort I have to put in. The White Sox could have a $25 million payroll this year, and they have technically not broken any rules. Other than they might not get as good of a draft pick now because they've de-incentivized tanking a little, but not a ton. And like you go back to this, you remember there were a couple of years there when the Guardians and the Marlins payrolls were like $45 million. Then like one player on the Dodgers was making more than an entire team's payroll. That's still no good. You got to figure out a way. I just don't think the owners are ever going to accept the minimum is the problem.
Yeah. 913-586-7965. That one says, I'm picking up a hint of a French accent today. I don't think so.
I feel like I'd notice it every time Alex agreed, he said, we.
Yeah. Again, other than bonjour, that was about it. That's all I had for
That was how you should have opened the show, actually, was bonjour.
I should have yesterday,
everyone.
not today. I could have yesterday. I could have.
Bonsoir.
If I really would have learned any bit of French, I could have just tried to start talking here we go. Say, here we go. All right, here we go on a Monday in French.
Yeah,
I should have learned how to say
that.
that.
Uh-huh.
I dropped the ball on that yesterday. That's my bad. I really should have learned that. Would have been funny.
That would have been pretty epic.
Yeah, you should have figured out some French. You know?
Yeah, I didn't.
Did you
I had
learn
an
this-
app. I had an app on my phone, like if I really in a pinch. But again, in Montreal, wow, it's a very European type of city. You can speak English and be just fine. Again, everybody there speaks at least 2 languages, if not 3. It's kind of crazy.
Must be nice.
I'm jealous. Yeah.
Let's study. Let's get on Duolingo. You and I will learn some.
Here's why I'm jealous, because as
We'll do an
a
entire show in
kid there,
Spanish.
you just grow up learning both, and so it is what it is. Now it's so hard. It's so hard to go back now and learn another.
All
language,
of the European
you know?
country, every other country seems to know English, while we just know
sure.
while we just know our own language and not anything else.
Look,
unfortunately,
it's more of just I think it would be really cool and useful to have.
Oh, for
when
sure.
you travel, but
Definitely.
I mean, in Kansas City, I think I'm good just knowing what I know. But you know what I mean? If I go somewhere else, it'd be nice. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, it'd be good. When I the 1 year I covered baseball, that was the most
Yeah.
I used Duolingo.
Oh yeah,
I was
yeah,
like-
that would be.
Well, in fairness, it's like
In the
if-
clubhouse, it would be nice if you knew Spanish.
If
for
I
sure.
was going to cover baseball for the next 20 years, like I was just going to live inside a baseball club, I think I would. Like if I were Sam Mellinger, I feel like I'd just be in. It's like I got to make it a full time job to learn Spanish. Like
You'd be able to
fully.
relate to the players a little bit more, just being able to, like,
yeah.
from that
well,
concept.
plus
it
it'd
would
just be nice when you're in the clubhouse just to know what everybody's saying.
Yeah,
that as well.
feels important. You know,
that it would be nice.
it's a combination. That's what like Vinny was saying. Like when he goes and it's Salvador Perez and Carlos Estevez, and they're meeting at the mound, and
He doesn't
he'll
know
just
what they're saying.
and he has no idea what they're saying, and he'll just be like, "Vamos." He said he's just like a vibes guy. They just
Oh,
say
yeah.
something, and then he just like hangs out and is like, "Yeah,
I mean, because
great
for all-
job, everybody."
I mean, because for all they know, it's like, yo, do you see that? Like,
It could be
I don't know,
anything.
the zit on that guy's, I don't know, cheek or something like that. I don't know, like if you got
I
acne
would
or something
think-
like that. Like
I would think
you
you'd
just
pick
poke
up
a little
some.
joke.
Like I
Yeah.
imagine Vinny has some.
Sure, if you're
For
around
sure,
it, if
yeah,
you're
yeah, for
around
sure.
it enough.
For sure.
What a weird example Drew just gave us,
Well,
by the way.
I
That's what
didn't
a point. Everybody know that's where his mind went. Out of all possible conversations,
you know what I think
Like,
happened?
if
Here's what
he's got like a pimple on his forehead or something like that, if Salvi's like, hey man, but he's speaking in Spanish, so Vinny doesn't know.
Here's what I think happened. I think Drew was getting ready to use an example of like he was going to say, "Check out that honey,"
chick in the
and he was going to say,
stands, yeah.
"Ayo, look at that." And
I-
then he
that
decided,
actually-
and
that
then he
actually
decided
wasn't-
he didn't want to do that in the moment, and so he's like, "A zit."
No, that wasn't where my mind. I was
Yeah.
trying to come up with a good way of saying like something's got.
yeah, you kind of almost jumped off sides there.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
It felt like you changed the analogy you wanted to go with in the middle.
I
is
was
what it-
stumbling over myself a little bit. I didn't know where I was going with it.
Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll check in with Matt McMullen again, who was in Indianapolis for the Combine. But today, as I said, is franchise tag deadline. But there's 2 names that I feel like we haven't. It's gotten quiet that are available if free agency doesn't go the way you want it to go if you're the Chiefs. So we've talked so much about free agent running backs, right? You guys know the names by now. If, in fact, Breece Hall becomes a free agent, or Kenneth Walker and Algier and Dowdle and Etienne, et cetera. We know the names. Wide receiver, we kind of know the names, right? We've talked about somebody like a Mike Evans or Romeo Dobbs or Alec Pierce. There's 2 names that will require a trade, but they're on a team in which I think they are willing to move on from. They already, we all know, are going to cut Tua. So I'm talking about the Miami Dolphins. Do you think it's weird that there's been no noise around a name that around the trade deadline even we mentioned in Kansas City about the long haul and who would you want over Breece Hall or not over Breece Hall? Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle. These are 2 guys that
I mean, Miami's definitely not going to try this year, right? Why would they?
They're in a reset. They're in a complete
Yeah.
rebuild. Maybe
Yeah.
Malik Willis is their quarterback, but there's a chance it's Geno Smith starting for the Miami Dolphins this year. I'm just saying, if you don't like the targets in free agency here in a couple weeks, and you don't get who you think you needed to get if you're the Chiefs, or maybe you had a target and somebody else offered them more and you weren't comfortable with that, I would circle back around towards the Dolphins. Are you guys interested in these names? I feel like nobody's talking about them anymore. Achane and Waddle. I would be interested in both, especially Achane.
So Waddle is interesting, but at the sense, so I'd be interested in Waddle because he's still pretty young. He's got a few years. He's still 27 years old. He won't be.
He's got
28
2
till
years left on
November.
a contract. This year, the cap hits $11.6 million.
Yeah, it's
now,
reasonable.
you're going to have to do something because in 2027, it's $33 million. So you're going to rework the deal, or you're just going to give it a run for a year and see where you're at.
I think my biggest issue with Waddle is is that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, Waddle's still there. Could he be a number one? Waddle operates a little bit like what we talked about with T. Higgins. When Waddle was the number one target and their offense was humming, Waddle put up some big numbers. He put up 1,300 yards one year as the number. And then Tyreek came in, and Tyreek ended up being the number one aside. So, like, his numbers took a dip, and he's never really fully recovered. Now, last year he had 100 targets because Tyreek got hurt. He finished with almost 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. He is better than any receiver they have on their roster.
He's capable of being that guy, as evidenced.
He would be.
Previously.
He would be their one. Weirdly, I'm like aiming for higher. Like as in, I know it's
because what does it take, guys? A 4th round pick, 3rd round pick, conditional third.
If you'll take the money, not much, man.
Yeah, is it even that? I mean, David Montgomery, a running back, just got traded yesterday, who's 29 or will be 29 for a 4th round pick and a 7th round pick and a random backup offensive lineman. And so when I look at Waddle or Achane, and Achane's only 24 years old, so there's maybe a new contract required on that one. But to me, he's another guy.
Achane, now we're talking.
Yeah.
That to me is
4th round pick, 3rd round pick. Probably a 3rd.
Even if it was a 2nd. If I'm going to spend a 2nd or 3rd round pick on a running back anyway, I understand Achane will need to be paid. Yeah. So what? If I'm going to, let's say either of them, I'm either going to try to find my starting running back in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd round, Love or one of these other guys in the 2nd and 3rd round, or I'm going to pay Kenneth Walker or Travis Etienne. I could pay a running back and a 3rd and have a known commodity in Devin Achane. Why wouldn't that be appealing?
I think that's why I'm out on it, though, because if you're going to use a pick already on a running back and then have to pay them, you would think more than what you would pay Jeremiah Love, even at 9.
Yeah, probably.
Then I would just take Jeremiah Love at 9. If I'm going to have to use a pick to still... If I'm going to lose a pick and have to pay the player more...
That'd be the same as paying a free agent running back, though, you know? It's not going to be more than
But you're not giving up the
Etienne.
pick, though, if it's a free agent running back. That's why I think the ETN thing stands out a little more, is I'm not giving up the pick to do it, I guess. But
like, the difference is for me, Drew, and I understand your idea is, like, I got to give up 2 things versus 1.
Yeah.
Same argument we've made for some of the other, like, wide receivers or whatever. The difference is here, if I spend the pick I'm giving up versus, like, a 1st round pick, the pick I'm giving up in the 3rd is coming with a running back who's a total unknown.
Compared to,
Yeah, what I'm getting in Achane is a known commodity.
A running and passing threat, receiving threat, I should say, that you get there. Now, Dan Graziano did right, though. He says he senses that the Dolphins, are more likely to extend Achane's contract than listen to trade offers. So perhaps that's why it's been a little quiet, that teams just don't think he's available. But, man, if I strike out and I can't sign a Kenneth Walker or whoever the Chiefs' target is, like we're all assuming they would like these guys.
Walker, ETN,
they may not like any of them. I don't know. But let's say the free agent market's not what you thought, and maybe you don't want to take Love at 9, or you're worried he's not there at 9, or whatever the reason may be. I'm just saying, Achane, I'd be calling up the Dolphins again and seeing his availability.
So Jalen Waddle's 27.
Yep.
Let's say, because I think Jalen Waddle would be really good. I think he, in a way, is kind of a mix almost between Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice. Like, if you were to blend the 2 players stylistically together, you kind of get Jalen Waddle. Knowing that Rashee's probably not going to be on this team after this season, and you bring him in, is that a guy that you're willing to give a bigger extension to, knowing that he'll be 28?
If you give up the pick, then you got. I think if you give up the pick, then you got to be willing.
I think
because then you buy years.
I think you would play out one more year, and at 11.6 million, and then he's got 2 years left on his deal. So after that,
so he'd be 29 when you need to re-sign him.
Correct. Because you're not going to let him play at 29 on a $33 million cap hit. So
it's actually not terrible for a wide receiver. Weird,
but I would need to rework the deal. I would think in 2027.
As it is deadline day, not surprising, but the Jets have officially tagged Breece Hall, but in the transition tag until they can work out the. Actually, they're just saying franchise tag. As they continue to hammer, this is as Schefter put it, as they continue to try to hammer out a lucrative long-term deal, the Jets are placing a $14.293 million franchise tag on the stand-up running back. The tag is designed as a placeholder until the two sides can reach an agreement. But he did not say transition tag. He said franchise tag.
And again, the difference there, transition tag, any team could offer something to Breece Hall, and the Jets could counter or match, and if he left, they would get draft pick compensation. Franchise tag, no team can do anything other than try to work out a trade with the Jets, but most likely it leads to a brand new deal for Breece Hall and the Jets. So it seems like Breece Hall might be completely out of the mix now, because I'm not I'm not going to give up probably what's going to be required to make that happen. I personally would say Breece Hall in Kansas City, that dream is over, in my opinion.
I think you can just call it dead. They'll have until mid-July to work out a deal. Maybe if you want him, this is the same thing. It's like Kyle Pitts and Breece Hall, you know what I hope? They don't work out long-term deals. So that if I'm still interested or in need next year, those guys might still hypothetically be available because the double franchise tag price for tight end or running back is going to be too cost prohibitive to make it worth it. But this goes back to like the names that we toss out in the early part pre-free agency versus the names that are actually available tend to be quite different. We have mentioned a number of running backs or wide receivers we thought could be interesting to Kansas City. Well, a number of those guys are like we mentioned Kyle Pitts, tagged. He's back with his team. Breece Hall is reportedly working out a long-term deal or trying to with the Jets, not available, right? And they could still, like you can trade him if a long-term deal doesn't get done. We talked about that with Chris Jones the first time his tag didn't get done. Does that mean you need to move on or those things? So it doesn't mean they're not. It's dead for now, I guess, is what I would say. Because if they get a long-term deal done, well, then Breece Hall's not going anywhere, at least for a couple of years.
I just assume it's dead because you consider, I know we were just talking about trading for Devon Achane.
Yeah.
But considering the franchise tag number, considering what a long-term deal looks like for Breece Hall, and the draft pick compensation the Jets would probably, I assume the Chiefs' Breece Hall thing is over.
I assume so, too. And honestly, it was on thin ice anyway. But with that news, I don't see how we could possibly think that they're going to bring him in.
Someone that was keeping an eye maybe on some of the running backs in Indianapolis, Matt McMullen of the Chiefs. He's going to join us next. We'll ask him about those backs. We'll ask him about potentially a position that might surprise us for the Chiefs at number 9. That's coming up right here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Some flavors just take you to another place. Like the Filet-O-Fish, a crispy fish fillet made with wild-caught Alaskan pollock on melty American cheese topped with tartar sauce, all on a soft, steamed bun. It's crispy, flaky perfection. And right now, I can mix and match 2 favorites, like a Filet-O-Fish or 10-piece chicken McNuggets for just $6. This deal is the catch of the day. So get to McDonald's fast. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most. That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in no time with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity. Imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025. Actual speeds vary. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to the premises by coaxial cable.
There's nothing like the sound of Royals baseball. When the boys in blue take the field, loyal fans tune in, turn it up, and stay connected. And where do Kansas City's most passionate sports fans gather? Right here on 96.5 The Fan. Sports fans are loyal fans. They support the teams they love and the businesses that support their team. If you're ready to grow your business and connect with a dedicated, engaged audience, call 816-522-0444 or email greg.bergen@odyssey.com. That's greg.bergen@odyssey.com.
Call Hamilton today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger, to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-939-1441. 800-939-1441.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
Hey guys, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here, and I want to invite you out to the first ever Drive Pop-A-Shot tournament on Wednesday, March 18th at Draftcade up in the Northland. All you need to do is listen into the show to qualify on Monday, March 9th, and also on Tuesday, March 10th, and you could be taking home the title of Kansas City's Pop-A-Shot champion. Rob and I are going to be broadcasting from Draftcade starting at 2 o'clock, and the tournament gets going at 6:30. The Drive's first ever Pop-A-Shot tournament, Wednesday, March 18th. Your home for Kansas City sports, right here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
There was part of me, and I dropped the ball here, Drew. There's part of me that was hoping we were going to get a little St. Elmo's Fire coming back. I blew that. It's my fault as well.
Should have said something.
I should have said something.
Probably doesn't even know that.
Oh, I think he does.
The song?
Yeah. No? Oh, okay.
St. Elmo's obviously is from the homeland.
If you will, in the next couple minutes, so that way when we're done talking to Matt McMullen, look for St. Elmo's Fire, please. Okay. And trust me, it fits.
I will find it.
Of course, I bring that up because our guest, Matt McMullen from the Kansas City Chiefs, joins us on the phone. He was just in Indianapolis. He was just at St. Elmo's, which is the hot spot for coaches and media, and it's always known to be the shrimp cocktail spot. And I saw, Matt, on social media, you guys over at the Chiefs put out a video of you and Mitch having dinner, trying these shrimp cocktails. Number one, I feel like you and Mitch need to do more of a video series going forward. I think that, for starters, should be a thing. But your facial reactions were amazing. Please explain what this was. I've always heard about the shrimp cocktail. I guess I didn't realize how spicy it was.
Yeah, there's a misconception here because I think some people thought that we were just trying shrimp cocktail for the first time.
Yeah.
You know, it's not quite that. So St. Elmo's, their whole thing, I guess they've been doing it this way for like 100 years, is their shrimp cocktail is like 95% horseradish. Like it's like atomic, where it's not spicy. Like if you've ever had horseradish before, you know what I'm talking about. It's not like spicy. It's just like it kind of shoots through your nose, you know, and then it goes away. But like you're feeling it there for a minute, and like that's their thing, and everyone does it. It's like $25 for a couple of shrimp, but you know, we did it for the content. This is why I went to journalism school.
Right.
We got it done.
You know, whatever works.
Do you think
what
Mitch
we're surprised by is that Mitch seems so loose.
Yeah.
You know?
That's how Mitch always is. That's the thing is, you know, so I grew up listening to Mitch because Mitch has been the voice of the Chiefs my entire life. And you wonder when you meet somebody, how are they going to be? And Mitch is like the coolest, most like fun, down to earth guy ever. And I'm with you. We should do more stuff like that because that's like how he always is.
Yeah,
so I'm glad we could capture that a little bit.
Yeah, I think you need to tell Rob or whoever else over there that you guys got to do a Mitch and Matt series going for anytime you're on the road, eating dinner and stuff like that. How was Indianapolis, though? I was saying, I feel like this is your like 7th or 8th combine. Maybe I'm underestimating that. Maybe it's more than that. But does it feel the same when they're picking in the top 10 as when you were there when the Chiefs are picking 28 to 32?
Well, it feels different for me because there's just a different kind of excitement there. And excitement's a weird word because last year was obviously disappointing. Like, you don't want to be picking this high, but it's the reality. And what do you do with it? And I think one thing I've been saying for months now is that this is like a great opportunity for the Chiefs. Last year was a bummer, but now you have a chance to really set this team up for not just next year, but years in the future. And to me, the combine, even though the front office staff has been working on these prospects for months and months, and in some cases years, the combine really felt like we finally turned the page to next season. And we actually have like data on a lot of these players. The front office got to interview a lot of these players and these prospects, and we can really attack turning this thing around and getting back on track next year. And even from like our perspective, like the content team, to be honest, I mean, normally when we're picking at like 31 or 32, it's kind of a crapshoot, and we send, like, I've been there with like maybe a camera person, we get a couple interviews and we get out. This year we had like a desk in the Radio Row area. We did like a live stream this year. We did a podcast. We did a whole bunch of stuff. We had like 8 people there from our content team because it feels like a kind of like a big moment in the trajectory of this team. And I came away from the combine thinking that there's a lot of great talent that's going to be there when the Chiefs are picking, both at 9, but also 40. Like, I'm really fired up for that 40th overall pick because how often does it happen where there's all these great players that everyone is excited about that are still available on day 2 and they just go right away? Well, now the Chiefs have a shot at one of those guys too. So I came away fired up and ready to attack this thing.
Do you think it's as wide open a position as the Chiefs will certainly want teams to think it is, right? As in tackle, safety, wide receiver, running back, like they're acting like, or at least the public perception is, kind of wide open at their spot at 9. Do you actually think it is?
Oh, yeah, I do. I think it's different than past years where, think about last year. I think we can all agree that the Chiefs needed to find a blue chip tackle prospect. And Josh Simmons was the guy that everyone's kind of hoping falls to him, but you don't know if he will. But it's kind of like, I want Josh Simmons, and if I can't get him, hopefully we can find someone else that's a good player. Maybe we'll trade back. I don't know. This year, to me, I mean, every other day I feel like I'm kind of thinking it could be a different guy. And that's the beauty of having this pick this high and really trying to stay true to the whole best player available mantra is you're going to end up with a really good player. It could be an offensive player, could be a defensive player, could be a DB, could be a receiver, a defensive tackle, an edge, offensive tackle. You could talk me into all of those positions. Running back even. Jeremiah Love obviously had a great combine. But I think the Chiefs are going to come away from this better than they went into it. And I think the way you do that is not saying, hey, we have to take this position in the draft. And how do you set yourself up for that opportunity? It's all about trying to maximize free agency. And that doesn't necessarily mean getting a whole bunch of high price guys, but it at least means setting yourself up where you're not saying we have to get this position in the first round, because that's where you're in trouble. So I think with the league year opening up next week, it's an opportunity for the Chiefs to hopefully supplement this roster with some good players in free agency, try to fill the holes that you feel like you have, and then go into the draft and truly go best player available. And I look back at 2022, transformative draft class for this team. That was the mindset going into that draft. I mean, I don't remember going into that draft saying, hey, we got to find a corner. We have to find a corner, right? But Trent McDuffie ends up being there. You take the best player available, ends up being a very good player for this team. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. And yeah, I'm best player available all the way.
I don't think it's any secret last year's free agent class did not go great on the field, and obviously was part of their overall struggles. I saw at least one report that suggested they're going to be a little less, let's bring guys back this year, and a little more explore all of free agency this season. Do you think that that's the best approach?
Well, I think when you have a season like last year, it kind of creates a mandate that, hey, if we were kind of in like a maintenance mode there for a couple of years where this team's going to the Super Bowl every year and we have to tweak things and try to keep this thing together as much as we can, I understand that philosophy, but now when you have a season like last year where you fall short of expectations, I think it almost gives you more leeway to make some bigger changes. And we've seen that, with the coaching staff. And I think we will probably see that moving forward, where this feels like a bit of a turning point for this team. And really for this regime and in the last 10 plus years, whenever we find these turning points, they make the right decisions. I mean, again, I think that 2022 draft class, keep in mind, you're coming off the 2021 season, which of course ended in an AFC Championship game appearance, but that team began 3-4. There were some struggles throughout that season, disappointing loss in the AFC Championship game. And you trade Tyreek Hill away. You make a lot of tough decisions because you felt like you had to, but they made the right decisions. I think when you have a season like last year, it creates another opportunity this time around where some tough decisions have to be made, but you feel good about making those tough decisions because last year was a disappointment. You're not so much in that maintenance mode anymore. It's more about kind of reloading and finding a way to get after not just next season, but the next several years.
We're talking to senior team reporter for the Kansas City Chiefs, Matt McMullen, here on 96.5 The Fan. Going back to Indianapolis just for a second, you mentioned, a best player available approach. Was there a player, though, just when you were watching them at the Combine in general that just stood out to you? You mentioned Jeremiah Love already, but was there anybody else that you were impressed with, I guess, in your years that you've watched that stood out more than others?
Well, it's tricky. I mean, there are some guys that impressed athletically. Every year I come away from the Combine wondering, at what point can the athletes not keep getting better? It's just crazy. I mean, I was looking at this. So 7 different position groups set the all-time Combine record for their fastest average 40-yard dash. The defensive linemen, linebackers, DBs, tight ends, running backs, wide receivers, and offensive linemen. That's crazy. The overall average vertical jump was the highest it's ever been. The offensive line group was the tallest, heaviest, fastest, and highest jumping ever. I mean, it's just nuts. Now, fewer and fewer players are doing drills. That's
right.
The other part of this. And, you see some chatter out there like, well, what's the point of the Combine if half the players aren't doing the drills? The irony is, as fun as it is to talk about like the 40-yard dash and these crazy vertical jumps, the value for me in the Combine is the front office interviews with the players and the medical information. And that's the stuff that we're not privy to. Those are the things that will come out maybe after the draft. But that's where it's kind of difficult for me to answer the question because, I could look at some of these guys like Kenyon Sadiq, runs a 4.39 at 241 pounds. Doesn't seem like it should be humanly possible. Like those things are amazing. But what I'm really curious about, and we won't know until draft weekend, is which players really impressed in the interviews and maybe which didn't.
I thought they were letting you sit in on those at this point, Matt. You've been around long enough. I figured they were just going to let you.
Give you that title, senior team reporter. They don't let you sit in?
Hey, maybe one day. I would love to do that just to see what makes these guys tick. I enjoy just talking to the front office guys, both on and off the record about all this kind of stuff. And I was chatting with some of them about if they remember certain guys over the years that when they walk in the room in the first few minutes, you just kind of know that they're a Chief. And the answer is yeah. I mean, we were talking to Mike Brabway, assistant general manager for this team, and he was talking about how, like, when Creed Humphrey walked in the room, Nick Bolton, Trey Smith, like George Karlaftis, like within the first 30 seconds, you're like, okay, this guy is going to be a fit here. And I'm sure the opposite is true for guys they end up not taking. But those are the kind of things I wish I could know. And to me, that's the real value of the Combine, as fun as it is to talk about these athletic freaks that put up these crazy numbers.
When you look at like some of the, trade options, do you think that that's something the Chiefs will explore this year? They got a limited number of picks, but they've got high-valued picks, obviously, which would normally bring back more in return. Do you think the Chiefs will look to make a trade for some of these roster holes?
My guess is that they'll be as open-minded as possible, and I think that's the best way of doing it. I do think with the number 9 overall pick, you never know who's going to slide. And I look at like the offensive tackles, for example. If one of those offensive tackles slides, and it's possible, the Chiefs could certainly take one. But if you feel good about your offensive line and a team maybe 4 or 5 spots back really wants one of those guys, I think you have to entertain the idea of trading back just a few spots and maybe you pick up an extra second or third round pick. I think that'd be a great outcome for the Chiefs because I still think you're going to get a really good player at like 15 or 16. So we have to see how the board falls, but I think it's a really good idea to stay open-minded, and I think the front office will. You just kind of see how that board falls, and maybe a guy falls to you that you didn't expect, you take that guy, or there's a player that you're really excited about, you take that guy. But if you have a chance to maybe only move back 4 or 5 spots, and the team that wants to trade with you is going to take a player that maybe you weren't really super interested in at all, seems like a pretty good situation to me to get some more picks, because I do think the strength of this draft is kind of in that middle range. The Chiefs are fortunate. I don't think we need a superstar. We're not looking for a quarterback, obviously, right? There's no like Myles Garrett defensively in this draft, but there's a lot of really good players. And in a draft like that, the more picks you have, the better. So, there's an opportunity to trade back and still maintain a pick in the first round. I think that'd be a great option for this team, and I think it all boils down to how that first round plays out.
Matt, before we let you go, I know today you had a new write-up on Chiefs.com about some of the reserve and future deals, and normally that's not something that people overreact to or anything, but I know last year, maybe at the time, people weren't talking much about Tyquan Thornton. He was technically signed late in the season. Last year, Dameon Pierce was signed late in the season. This year, is there a name that stood out to you that maybe people should keep an open mind about, I should say, heading into training camp?
I'm glad you brought this up because, people don't talk about these kinds of things. I like being thorough with this stuff. You never know who's going to make a difference in the end when they're given an opportunity. And, the reserve future signings are never super exciting. Right. But every once in a while, like Tyquan Thornton last year, you see a guy that makes the most of his chance and ends up being a pretty good player. And looking at the list right now, it's a lot of guys that joined the practice squad at the back end of the year that haven't had much of a chance to show what they can do. So it's hard to say right now. Like, I'm curious to see some of these guys in OTAs and obviously in training camp and seeing if they can make the most of their chance. But, Jason Brownlee really seemed to take the town by storm in the preseason last year and in training camp. Just a really impressive, big physical receiver. Didn't have a ton of chances during the year, even though he made the roster for week one, which I thought was impressive. But he's one of these reserve future guys. And keep in mind, Tyquan Thornton, he was on this team in 2024 on the practice squad. I don't know if he was elevated or not, but he was around the building. Sometimes it takes a year or two to kind of get familiarized with how we do things here and the coaching staff and the playbook and all that, and then you can really take advantage of your chance. Curious to see how Brownlee does this offseason and if he takes a step forward.
Matt McMullen, Chiefs senior team reporter. I guess next time Mitch and you guys will be just doing the Pocky Hot Chip Challenge or something together.
Hey, I'm open to this. Any food challenges, restaurants around the area, let us know. We'll come to you.
There you go. Thank you, Matt. That's Matt McMullen with the Kansas City Chiefs joining us. It was Indianapolis for the Combine, and you should check out the video. Is pretty good there for Mitch and him having the. Are you a horseradish guy?
Sure. I like it more of as like a creamy horseradish sauce.
Yeah.
Versus just straight, but I'm not anti.
True, you're the Indianapolis guy. You've told us. I think you've never been to St. Elmo's or
correct. I have not been to St. Elmo's, though. I know that it's the talk of the town for people who are visiting there, who are normally not from Indianapolis.
Have you been to Lucas Oil?
Oh yeah, I've been to.
I'm just asking.
You probably went to the RCA Dome back in the day.
I've been to the RCA Dome one time, and that place is it's a
dump.
It was a dump. Yes.
Do you now know what I mean by the St. Elmo's Fire, the song?
Yes, I have it put up, by the way, if you want to.
Yeah.
Were you familiar with this song?
No, I had no idea the song actually existed.
Or the movie?
Yeah, see, I dropped the ball on that.
That was your opportunity.
I know. It should have been coming back from break. That's my fault.
It's weird when you mention stuff like the RCA Dome and stuff. Do you think they'll do anything with old Arrowhead and old Kaufman, or is it just going to like slowly get
It'll be torn
demolished?
down. Yeah.
They're probably going to tear it down.
Sometimes they turn these things into like apartment complexes or try to retrofit them, but these teams are leaving because they couldn't develop over there. So like I don't think they're just going to try to develop.
What you're describing happens more with like Olympic sites or in other countries where they'll turn a stadium into a giant like apartments inside the stadium.
There is one in Indianapolis though.
For which stadium?
The Indianapolis Clowns, where they used to play in downtown Indy. That is now an apartment complex.
There's a few.
My guess is they're getting torn down, and hopefully they have something exciting to put there. It'll be one of those
like
for the city.
Like like when you buy you have a seat or a piece of the concrete.
Oh, they're going to sell everything.
I'd like a chunk of the concrete cancer, It's never going to make it anyway. Just one. Oh, they'll sell every.
That area screams like warehouse facility stuff, though, right?
Data center type stuff.
If they build anything there. But like
wow.
That's what it
Historic stadiums demolished to become empty blank warehouse.
Well, it's better than just sitting there with weeds and
Oh, I know. Look, this goes back to I had asked a question, but I think the answer is if something like that would have worked there, they would have developed that area by now.
Yeah.
The teams have often, Drew, I'm not even kidding. They've talked apartment buildings out in left field. They've talked shops and all this stuff. And every time they crunch the numbers and they're like, will people come here? They're like, no.
Yeah, dang.
And then they just decide,
Yeah,
we're not going to build anything.
It's sad,
Parking
but
lot and 2 stadiums.
They'll both be torn down.
Yeah, it's
it
tough.
sucks. It'll be a weird day when that happens, but that's likely where it's going.
It would be funny if they did get repurposed and it turned out they were fine, and all of this like talk of the concrete, it could have been fine. You know.
So you guys, like, if they sell the seats at are you guys going to buy?
No,
like,
the hell am I going to do with that?
I don't know.
I mean, personally,
are you going to buy? Like,
I would buy a
bit on the
seat.
turf
I
or
would buy a
something like
seat from Arrowhead. Yeah. to
Some
have.
people will buy like the seat backs or whatever because you can frame those up. People,
Right.
or people like hang.
That's
those
what
on
I
their
mean. That's
wall.
what I mean. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't think so. But I also don't own much sports memorabilia.
Yeah, you're not a memorabilia guy. Yeah.
So like, it would be kind of weird for me if all of a sudden I just had like a Kauffman Stadium urinal. You know, doesn't make sense.
Okay, you use that. That's like an extreme
the troughs
example.
back in the day.
Imagine just like in my basement bathroom's really small. Imagine if I just change out the toilet and put a urinal there instead.
You should.
Get it out of
Honestly,
old
you
Arrowhead.
should.
It's very small. There's not enough space for like a comfortable bathroom.
But if you could say you had a piece of the crown from the K, I think
What?
you would.
If
I
they're
think
gonna
you
give
would.
me-
Where is he going to put
They're going to give me a
that?
piece of the video board?
That I don't think you realize the scale of that.
No, no.
Where is he put? That's not going to fit in his house.
No. If
Even
they,
a piece of it.
if they
If
crumb
they'll
it
install
into
it for free in my
if they
backyard,
crumb it
I'll
into
put
a
it
bunch of pieces like cubes, you could have a cube
Of the
that
digital
essentially.
board?
Yeah,
Or like a piece of the
crown.
gold
If
part?
they
He means
knock,
the top
if
part.
they knocked the crown down and they chopped it up into a bunch of like
probably
square
will.
pieces, I think that might be something that you actually would be interested
in the garage sale
Crown
a
Vision.
couple of years ago. We had an item that was like a piece of the old AstroTurf.
Yeah, that's easy
I
to do.
remember.
They'll have- that's an easy thing to do.
If the
for sure.
Royals will install for free, I'll put the crown on top of my house. You know, just right behind it where it
Your
looks
house
like.
would become like a landmark. It'd be one of the most visited
People would
places
be
in the city.
He's going to
I wanna
drive
put
by.
the crown
So
right
Cody,
above.
let me get this straight. Cody's willing to hold on. You guys recall from last week. Cody's
Mm.
willing to put a crown on his house, but he won't figure out a way to get a basketball hoop to work at his house. Got it.
It's
Figured
not
it
the
out.
driveway's not
Son
flat
to
enough.
play basketball in.
I think I'm just going to put it in the
Did you
backyard.
ask your
and you can
neighbors?
practice shooting. I did not. I did drive up there though to scout.
You need to build this relationship up for months before you ask them to put a basketball hoop in their
This
front
honestly
yard.
is the
Yeah,
perfect
you're
time
right.
at least
Walk
to do it because
around the
it's-
street a lot. Get
It's
to know 'em.
not warm enough on a regular basis to go and shoot baskets. Now's the time to do it where you build up the relationship, and then in a month from now when it's
Go for a
70
walk,
out
but
every
the
day.
walk is him dribbling his basketball up and around for practice, and then, oh man, if only we had a hoop. Oh, you know,
Jeez.
gosh,
You
if
want to
only-
guilt trip the neighbors?
No, you are. This is a George Costanza scene. Absolutely, you're trying to guilt trip people into getting something.
We've just been going to the park instead. Regular. He tried to get me to go yesterday to the park. I was like, it's raining. I don't, you know.
Grind never stops, Cody. Grind never stops.
He's been
Playing
leaving,
basketball.
He has one basketball jersey that we purchased, and he leaves it. He doesn't want to wear it to school. He leaves it on the banister going up the stairs, and he puts it on when second he gets home from school. It's on,
That's awesome.
and then it just
That is
stays
so
on the
cool.
rest of the day.
That's
and then
really
before
cool.
he goes to school, he takes it off and he hangs it in the spot so he can like know where it is when he gets home. He just throws the jersey back on as soon as he gets back. Basketball's back in. I'll let you know how his first game goes. It's in
Yeah.
like 3.5 weeks.
There you go.
So we'll see how he does.
People now saying, well, the Arrowhead seats aren't the original seats. Well, yeah, they've put in new seats, but I still would. If you
Yeah,
told me
people
that,
bought their original seats from that one.
Yeah, I mean, same thing. If you when the seats become available, I would like to buy a seat back, especially if I can. I don't know if they let you get the specific one because that'd be cool to get the section that we had season tickets in way back when.
If they don't take the statues, you could have a piece of Frank White's statue. That you
Well, again,
could have
that
as a
one's
piece of
that's getting
memorabilia.
lost in shipping and moving. Unfortunately, that's falling off the back of the truck on the way to wherever.
If they
end
offer
up.
that to be free in my
Yeah.
backyard, should I take it too? Just a bronze of
No,
Frank
again,
White in my backyard.
that one's just gonna be that's just gonna get misplaced. That'll get misplaced, or they didn't actually strap it into the truck good enough, and unfortunately, it ended up
Jeez.
on I-70 on the way downtown.
Yeah. Yeah. Oops. Oops. Oh no, it's terrible.
Oh,
Are you
my
guys going to
gosh.
rebuild it since it fell off the truck?
Not sure.
Yeah. Working through the details on that. We have to get the Salvi one done first. We'll get back to you. That's what they'll say at the end of that, you know? I don't know. I was just thinking about the stadium stuff. It's going to be weird when they actually, as much as it'll be weird to have the new stadiums, it will be equally as weird, if not weirder, to see the other ones like demolished.
No question.
Like,
when you're
just-
driving down I-70 and you're used to it being there, like
It'll be very weird. It'll be
used to be there,
super
yeah.
weird.
It will feel like an apocalypse at first. Even when they're just like sitting empty for a while. You know, can I have the numbers where they put like the years they won, 1985 and 2015? Those are those numbers?
Where are you going to put that in your house?
Are those numbers way bigger than I think?
You can see them visibly that large from the highway. They're on that scoreboard. That's a massive.
I'm trying to think if those 4 numbers could somehow make my house numbers. Just put them in your address. Could those numbers in any way equal my address?
It's going to block the whole front of your house.
Your house all of a sudden becomes an Arrowhead Museum.
Yeah.
From all the stuff that you're collecting.
I'm going to convince these teams to bring all these things over. We're just going to make it super weird in my neighborhood, you know? Somebody says melt the Frank White statue and then use it to make that Spags bust that you wanted with the laser eyes.
No, you wanted that, not me.
Yeah. I meant you as in they're speaking of me, yes. That was something I wanted, correct. You never know, man. Show can go a lot of different ways. They said, can't you just recall a statue? Also pretty good. And now people are just telling me different ways to get that basketball goal there. I don't want to pour a bunch of concrete in the backyard. He's got to be, look, if he stays this into basketball, if it's every single second of every single
gym
day.
Membership.
We have one. That's where we've been going when the weather's been
there you go.
We've just been going inside and shooting.
Yeah.
But at first, when he first started playing, he didn't want to play in front of other people because, kids are like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's fine. Now the last time he went to the gym, he found some random kid to play one-on-one with.
I was going to say, he's picking kids out. I bet you I could beat you one-on-one. There you go.
He didn't. The kid just started guarding him while he was dribbling, and so he just.
He was just doing shoot around, and the kid just walked up and started guarding him?
They were shooting on the same hoop.
Jeez.
There's only so many, Drew. So these 2 kids were sharing the time.
Yeah,
I was helping them rebound, and they were shooting together, like with their grandma. And then all of a sudden, he was dribbling, and the kid just started, got his hands out like he was going to try to block him from the basket. Right. And Desmond just started driving to the basket, well, I guess he's going to try to guard me. I better try to make a shot. It was a natural game of one-on-one,
All right, up next, we'll get to a player or two that could get traded by the end of this week, according to one national reporter, plus what both local schools, or 2 of the 3, I should say, can do in college hoops tonight.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
College basketball is nonstop. Big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every single night, and now FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger wins with a college basketball parlay profit boost. So here's how it works. You build any college hoops parlay you like. The early tip, the rivalry game, the ranked matchup, the late night West Coast shootout you're watching. You can mix the spreads, the totals, the props, whatever fits your read of the slate, and then you just apply your profit boost and instantly bump up that potential payout. So you could go safe, you can go spicy, you can go with the team you've been following all season. It's your parlay, your style, now with more upside behind it. Head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook's the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Minimum 2-leg parlay required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable Boost Builder tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amounts. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Liberty Mutual customize this song for you. Like your car insurance, it's custom too, yeah. Liberty Mutual's got the coverage that could save you money. Thanks to Doug and Limu, well now you can go and take that cruise. Liberty, 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 yeah.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexbuykc.com.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-284-1238. 800-284-1238. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-284-1238.
There's nothing like the sound of Royals baseball. When the boys in blue take the field, loyal fans tune in, turn it up, and stay connected. And where do Kansas City's most passionate sports fans gather? Right here on 96.5 The Fan. Sports fans are loyal fans. They support the teams they love and the businesses that support their team. If you're ready to grow your business and connect with a dedicated, engaged audience, call 816-522-0444 or email greg.bergen@odyssey.com. That's greg.bergen@odyssey.com.
CertaPro Painters recently painted my home and exceeded my expectations. I booked a free estimate, reviewed a detailed proposal, and scheduled my project on the spot. When you choose CertaPro Painters, you're partnering with trusted local professionals with over 70,000 five-star reviews. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in KC. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Last month, my business cash flow got tight. Sales were slow. Invoices were late. And payroll was coming fast. My business is everything, and people rely on me. I can't let them down. I applied online at lenseek.com and had business funding in 24 hours.
Business moves fast. Don't wait until it's too late. Whether it's lines of credit, term loans, working capital funding, or revenue-based financing, LendSeek is open for business. Apply now at LENDSEEK.com.
Spring savings start early at Lowe's. Get a Cobalt 24-volt max leaf blower for just $99. It's powerful, lightweight, and ready to go. Plus, get 4 bags of Stay Green 1 cubic foot garden soil for just $10. Don't wait. Get everything you need to start on your spring projects today. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 3/4. Soil offer excludes Hawaii. Selection varies by location. While supplies last.
Wendy's has a new Girl Scout Thin Mints Frosty Fusion with Girl Scout Thin Mints cookie pieces, rich creamy frosty, and a mint chocolate cookie sauce. Which means Girl Scout Thin Mints and Wendy's Frosty, yeah, they're basically best friends now. It's like 2 delicious desserts just high-fived, snapped a few too many friendship selfies, and then rode a tandem bike down a never-ending road of mint chocolate frosty perfection. So, swing by Wendy's and try the new Thin Mints Frosty Fusion.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Look out for Max Minute on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This is Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock hour, Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We'll get to the trash of the day in 20 minutes. We're also about 10 minutes away from discussing 2 of the locals in action tonight. All 3 are actually in action, but only 2 have implications, frankly.
Wait, hold on.
Yes,
in case they loses, they could be in dead last.
I guess there's an implication there.
Massive implications.
I guess there's massive implications for scheduling.
This show. For which time they'll play.
Are you going to be locked into K-State's game tonight,
No.
Cody, for that reason?
No. And also the other team has to lose. Who's Utah got tonight, you know?
KU's playing
Colorado, I think.
KU's playing Arizona State. Implications with that one for the NCAA, or for the Big 12 tournament, I should say. And then Missouri taking on OU. We'll talk about both those in just a bit. But by the end of this week, could we have some major movement in the NFL? Albert Breer is reporting that Max Crosby of the Raiders, despite, Spytech, the GM, saying, they're not moving him, despite Max Crosby saying he's happy to be a Raider and all that a trade could happen this week. So here we are on Tuesday. It's something to watch. And he mentions the teams to keep an eye on. And I think we tried to name a couple of them, and there's a few additional ones, but these are from Albert Breer. He says the Cowboys, the Bears, the Ravens, the Bills, the Patriots, the Eagles, and the Rams are teams that could be interested in pulling off a trade for Max Crosby. I'll tell you the one that just stands out like no other on this list, knowing their issues that they have had and not had a dominant edge rusher for
Bills?
a bit. Yes.
It's not from a lack of trying.
Mm-hmm.
They have been making, even though they've had one of the better defenses in the NFL, not built around their pass rush. They've brought in Von Miller, aging player, Bosa, aging player after aging player. They've spent first-round pick on Rousseau. They've tried. They have actively tried. The way the Chiefs have tried to fix their offensive line and tackle situation for years, that's the same thing the Bills have been doing at edge for years.
It makes a ton of sense. Now, who's most likely to pull off the trade? Well, the Eagles have done these type of trades so
many times.
I would say the Eagles are probably one of the favorites just because they've actually been able to take risks more than others and willing to. But the Bills make a ton of sense. The Rams, if you believe that they're the same organization they were a couple years back with the whole F them picks or whatever, well, Matthew Stafford's coming back for one more year. You've got a couple young players on defense already. You got Puka, you got Devontae Adams. They just say, screw it. We're going to trade away a first-round pick and another pick, and we're going to just bring in Crosby, and we're going to try to win a ring with Matthew Stafford.
When they won one, they had Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
There's an advantage in having an elite-level pass rusher because they've been one of the better teams in the league. But the issue they've been running into in the playoffs is they don't have a stopper. Seattle worked them over on defense during the time in the playoffs. So, you got to find a way to, get stops one way or the other. And if you're the Chiefs, you've had Chris Jones this entire time. Look at the teams who have had their kind of success and have been able to do it. And the fact that A.J. Brown might also be available, maybe that makes it easier for the Eagles. You give up draft picks to get Max Crosby, you trade away A.J. Brown to get picks back, and you can put yourself in a similar spot. It definitely feels like, and I've told you this, every single year there's at least one major move. So somebody, at least one, some major name is definitely getting dealt. And these two seem like the most likely scenario. If Albert Breer and Schefter are already softening the waters, and I always think the telltale sign is, they're asking for the world. It's just their way of publicly saying this exact same thing happened before someone got traded last week. It's the second they start saying, they want Micah Parsons-like return. That was a report on Max Crosby.
I think A.J. Brown and Max Crosby are in a similar situation. Both teams not wanting to deal their guys. Both teams open to listening, and both teams have to have an offer that they can't say no to move guys that they want to hold on to. Those are the two notable names.
Yeah, that makes sense, as you were saying. I mean, it makes
but that's
sense.
Just their way of saying, I'd like more in this trade. Mm-hmm. I have to be blown away.
Mm-hmm. And they
Up
should
your
be.
offer, please.
And they should be. These are two ridiculously talented players that are valuable assets. They should be trying to get everything possible. A.J. Brown, I don't think the Chiefs are in a draft pick compensation position to do it, but A.J. Brown would be fascinating here. I just don't think – I think he's more likely to go to the Patriots or the Bills. I don't think Kansas City's in a spot to give up, a top pick with their current draft perspective. But yes, I would like both of them to go to the NFC. Fine. Chicago and the Rams. Fine. Max Crosby goes to the Rams, and A.J. Brown. Well, I don't know if A.J. Brown in Chicago makes sense, but you get the point. Maybe
Not really.
Max Crosby to Chicago, and then how about even an A.J. Brown goes to.
We'll find some other NFC team to attract him to. Maybe the Bucks. They don't have
the Cowboys being on here is hilarious to me though, because we know they traded away Micah Parsons, and I understand he got hurt, but
to just give those picks away
and then go bring in Max Crosby. I don't get it. For an older player, too.
Yes, it would make no sense. Who you're still going to have to pay.
Yeah.
It's the same problem as before. Little news out of the NFL. Pete Schrager now reporting that the Seahawks will not franchise tag Kenneth Walker as we continue to pay attention to the tag deadline. As expected, yes. Breece Hall has been tagged by the Jets. Not the transition tag, by the way. The full regular tag for Breece Hall. We know the other two guys who've been tagged are George Pickens and Kyle Pitts. But now reporting that, as expected, Kenneth Walker III
truly on the market.
Will be a true free agent available to any NFL team. So the problem with that, Gold, as you know, is
paging Brett Veach.
That means the price tag went up. Because if you have 32 NFL teams, and I understand it's not going to be every single one. So you got 15 teams, 10 teams. You got 10 teams bidding for your services. Boy, can you drive that number up. Especially because a couple of the other guys you thought might be available at running back aren't, right? You know, Breece Hall's not available. And I'm not saying everybody thought, but, you know, some guys who you thought might be on the market.
Now, Breece Hall's the better back. Kenneth Walker had a great postseason, but Breece Hall's the better back.
Yes.
Kenneth Walker's very, very good, and I would love him in Kansas City. But Breece Hall is the better of the two backs, despite Walker being the Super Bowl, MVP.
Yeah, it's a little bit, at least on this end. But if you're interested in Kenneth Walker as a Chiefs fan, he is on the street. He is available for just the price of money. And you and I talk about this as it relates to Jeremiah Love. Kenneth Walker, funny enough, I still think will need a compliment. This is the only issue with paying him, Gold, versus like paying a guy like Algier who will cost significantly less money. If I sign Kenneth Walker, I don't think he's the only back. I think I still have to draft one or have to be a big believer in Brashard Smith or have to bring back. I think he has always operated with a compliment. And I think that you're going to still want to operate with versus Breece Hall, I think is just the back.
What do we think Kenneth Walker's getting?
I mean, they could have franchise tag him for $14 million. So my guess is he thinks he's getting 4 for $60, $15 million a year. Somewhere under the Saquon number that is like $20 million a year, but above pretty much everyone else. Don't you think?
I mean, Spot Track has it around 11 a year.
I think it's more than that. Maybe I'm way off. I just think when you hit free agency,
it is free agency. Someone overpays. Yeah, someone usually does overpay.
Like, I think he's so. In fairness, James Cook signed a deal last year. It has to be over that number. Just the way free agency works, Gold. You and I both know. He's not better than James Cook, but he's close enough, like in free agency. James Cook got an extension worth $11.5 million a year. I think it has to be.
Well, to make
above
him
above that number.
He needs 12.25 to be a top 5 running back in salary. Now, I don't know if he's, we could go through, is he a top 5 back in football, but he's a free agent running back and the market is the market. So we'll see. That's the tricky part. If you get to 12.5, $13 million a year, I don't know if that's smart for the
$15 million.
Well, if it's $15 million a year, then I have no interest. I'm not paying a running back $15 million.
That's fine. That's like what we're talking about with tight end.
Yeah.
There should be a break point in which the number doesn't make sense, and you'd rather give that money, like we said, to Etienne or Algier or any of the other available. We mentioned those because we like them, but any of the other available running backs, and buy 2 instead of 1, or buy 2 in draft, or do whatever you got to do. But Derrick Henry got $15 million a year. Jonathan Taylor got $14 million a year. Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley, they got 19 and 20. It's not going to be those numbers.
He's not as good as any of those guys.
No, he's not.
But it's free agency.
He's not better than James Cook, but it's free agency.
It's free agency, and you get. It's the reason why there's quarterbacks that are paid top 3. It doesn't mean they're a top 3 quarterback in football. It's just the name of the game.
I would argue when Josh Jacobs got paid, he wasn't a top 3 running back in football, but he got $10 million a year.
Yeah.
So $12 million a year is what Josh Jacobs got. Free agency, man. That'll up the price.
I think, to his credit, perfect time for him. Free agent, had a great postseason, Super Bowl MVP. I think his stock will never be higher than what it is right now.
And because of that,
you're going to overpay.
He is lower on my list than other people because I think it is very difficult to make the justification of the price tag inside of it. Like, I don't know how you make it work. Little breaking news out of Major League Baseball. Jeff Passan reporting. I mentioned this because this is a player the Royals reportedly try to sign. The Braves have designated hitter Jurickson Profar is now facing a 162-game suspension after testing positive
again.
Performance-enhancing
Come
drugs.
on, twice in a year
for the second time. Sources tell ESPN.
What an idiot!
That's Jeff Passan reporting that
he was suspended 80 right last year, so it's 240. Yeah. Come on, Jurickson.
So he is facing a 162-game ban for once again testing positive for PEDs. And I'm dead serious.
Your career's over.
The Royals were very interested in signing Jurickson Profar.
Was it the same
and
thing?
Anthony Santander in that year in which they didn't sign either. And thank God neither of those deals got done. Santander stunk. And Jurickson Profar keeps cheating.
I'll be honest.
He's not even getting away with it.
I'll be honest. There's no way that he did it 2 years in a row unless it was prescribed something that did. No, I understand that, but it's prescribed something that happens to be banned. There's no way he did it in back-to-back seasons.
This also means he'll be ineligible for the upcoming World Baseball Classic, where he was set to represent the Netherlands, but he'll not be available for that. That's not as important,
disastrous
obviously.
signing by the Braves.
But the Braves, what did they pay him? They're going to get some of that money back, right? When you get suspended, they get a little bit of a rebate.
Come on, Jurickson. I like Jurickson Profar. He's one of my guys.
Is he?
I
You
like
shouldn't be your guy
Jurickson
anymore.
Profar.
Again, this was a player that Royals fans really
3 for 42.
Do we know what happened last year, though? Was that like he intentionally took PEDs?
Well,
or
it's the same thing as always, Drew. The player will claim that he didn't willingly take,
Tainted beef or whatever. 2 years in a row?
I didn't know. I went to buy cough medicine, and I had a cold, and it happened to have this
Weirdly
in
enough,
it.
Mondesi got his suspension reduced once.
I used that example for
So they must have believed him.
But now. I don't know the rehab story. Was he taking something because rehab has been very mentally draining on him and all that?
I'm saying.
Maybe.
Yeah, but he's still cheating. He's still taking substances you're not allowed to take, and it's not. We've talked with baseball players all the time. It is fairly obvious. There's a protocol. If you're really concerned that you're about to take something that you're about to put something in your body and you're not sure, you can easily have somebody with your team check to make sure it's a approved substance.
There's a free 24-hour-a-day hotline, as a matter of fact, that you are allowed to call as a Major League Baseball player to confirm if that is an okay thing to take. They give you pretty much, it's the same as like they've got a car service so you don't drive drunk. Major League Baseball wants to make sure that you don't get in trouble. They want you playing baseball. They paid him 3 years and $42 million. They wanted to make sure.
Last year, I don't know this year if it was the same substance, but here was a story from last March. This was a testing positive for HCG, chorionic gonatrophine. I butchered the hell out of that. Performance-enhancing substance that is a violation. So, he took a performance-enhancing substance, and I don't know if it's the same one again, but what a moron. Honestly.
I gotta say,
throw it away your career, man.
I'm not saying, and obviously they should have done something else. The Royals outfield was atrocious, but they were in the market and in the mix for both Profar and Santander. And I've never been more thankful that they went into the season with MJ Melendez and Renfroe, because at least I don't owe them any money. At least they're not just sitting on some dead weight anchor of a contract. I wish they'd signed someone else.
No,
but at least they didn't sign either of those guys.
Santander would have been one of the worst free agent signings, it turns out, in Royals history, based on the money. And then
It's 1
Profar,
year, but he was pretty bad.
Santander wasn't a 1 year deal.
No, I'm saying it's only 1 year he's been bad. Sorry. He could still.
He's hurt again.
redeem.
He's hurt again.
He's hurt again.
Santander, yeah, he's hurt again.
Okay.
He's not. I think he had a setback. And then Profar just hasn't played barely any games for the Braves. Now, if that contract's not crazy, it's 3 for 42. It's not a devastating contract, but still, it would have gone down as one of the bad signings in franchise history as well. So,
this says he's likely to miss a huge chunk of the year again. Oh man.
Yeah. You got to be smarter. I'm way past the point of
who knows?
There's no reason for you not to be knowledgeable about what you're putting in your body if you're a big league player. I'm sorry. There's just not. There's no excuse.
So I've used this example before, but for those who are just tuning into the show for the first time, I once got a talking to from the Royals training staff because I was requested and then brought in cinnamon rolls for some players. And they can't just eat anything, man. I was like, why didn't crush up HGH and, put it into the dough? But they're like, no. Lots of different things. Things can have, medicines can have side effects that make it look like you're trying to use a masking agent.
That's the thing. What he took might be the masking agent. I have no idea.
Someone says the cycle down drug was the one from last year.
So yeah, that's not my world. But all I know is if I was a Major League Baseball player and had this kind of money on the line, well, I'm not saying recovering from injuries cannot be have a huge mental toll. I'm sure it does. You got to know what you're putting in your body, and it's so easy for you to find out. And you most of the time, these guys know exactly what they were trying to get away with.
I will say this is a fair point over on Twitch. I understand, and I'm not saying it's right, but I understand why a player would try to cheat to get paid a lot of money.
Look, Miguel Tejada is the perfect example of that.
Yeah, cheat. Get paid a lot of money, but this Profar got paid it. You don't have to cheat anymore. You can just be bad at baseball and they still have to pay you $42 million. But if you get busted cheating, no more $42 million. Why risk it? To cheat to get the money, and a lot from a human instinct, I get.
Yeah.
But the second you have the money, why the hell are you still cheating? They would have owed you your full contract salary this year Even if you didn't try to cheat to get better, you could just practice more or be bad at baseball. They still have to pay you. You don't have to Gilmesh it. You don't have to give your contract back. They got to pay you. Life's life. So like that part of it is kind of weird, but I don't know, man. Either way, yet another baseball player, and it apparently just jerks in Profar, suspended 162 games facing 162 game suspension for a failed drug test, according to Jeff Passan over at ESPN. Pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy. Aren't you glad they didn't sign Santander?
Yes.
Profar. I just remember how much time. It's a little bit like how we talked about running backs with the Chiefs briefly. It's a lot like that, Gold. So in a weird way, it feels very familiar that we spent a whole bunch of time talking to those guys. I'm like, oh, phew, that could have gone really south, right? In a number of ways. We'll get to the trash today in a couple of minutes. I did want to talk for a few seconds about KU and MU tonight because they do both have, I think, something very important on the line. KU wins, they get a double bye in the Big 12 tournament. They get to just kick their heels up and not play till Thursday. That is for a team that seems like it has a hard time putting together 2 games in a row in a given week, heading into a tournament, and for a player who's consistently struggled with cramps, doesn't feel like the worst thing in the world for them. And MU, and I think you and I both agree, we've already said we think they're going to be a tournament team, but with a win against Oklahoma tonight, it's like the lock of a century, right? Like there's nothing they can do to screw it up to miss the tournament.
So they have Oklahoma and Arkansas, and then it's the SEC tournament. So Oklahoma's the only quote unquote bad loss left would be if you lost tonight at Oklahoma. So I think winning tonight ensures Missouri is in the tournament. It still doesn't ensure that they're not in Dayton, but if you lose to Oklahoma, then everything's back on the table, and all of a sudden it gets a little dicier in terms of them having to maybe win a game in the SEC tournament. I'm just talking about to get out of the first 4. And so to me, that should be your goal right now if you're Missouri. I think you're going to make the tournament, whether it's the last 4 in or not, but you don't want to have to go to Dayton. So you win against Oklahoma tonight. You don't have any potential bad losses left to have. And so I think you're in a good spot.
Losses.
Then I think you're in a good spot and you end up as a 9 or a 10 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, even if you lose both. Now, if you win one, you might be able to 8-9 line, you might be able to secure versus 9-10. But I think if they win, they don't even have to worry about
8-9 is tough anyway, right? You're a 9 seed. That's a tough draw to begin with. 8-9,
especially in a year where the top seeded teams are good.
Even in the 8-9 game, oddly enough, if you're a 10 seed, you kind of sometimes you feel like you
get a little bit of a break.
It's weird. Normal. It is all matchup dependent. So
if teams got to choose, would they choose? Like if you got to choose between a 9 seed and a 10 seed, would you choose 10?
Yes.
I think you do.
I think 10 times out of 10,
I feel
avoid the top 4 seeded
teams. You do. You get out of that.
Probably true.
The tricky, I think the answer is yes as well. The only part we don't know is we know in the tournament, it's so matchup dependent.
Yeah.
So that first game, not playing the 1 seed, that's going to be a tough game no matter what. I'm saying you might get lucky and the 8 seed you play is just a really good matchup for you. And so you say your goal is still to win a tournament game, survive in advance, and see if you get lucky.
But no one's going to blame you if you, In a weird way, I will say losing to the 1 seed, nobody blames you for your tournament win, though. Like
I think the same thing with the 2, though. Like you're not expected to win, so if you lose, it's fine. But your chances are likely more realistic playing the 2 than the 1. Especially, obviously, if you're in the overall number 1 seed.
I think this year I don't think every year that's necessarily true because I do think there are week 1 seeds who maybe just didn't. But like this year, I don't think you want anything to do with Duke, Arizona, Michigan. Like I don't think you want.
Yeah,
I don't think you want anything to do with those teams.
Yeah, for sure.
You want to actively avoid those because that next group are the teams that everybody's beaten. Florida's going to be a 2 seed. Missouri's beaten them. Iowa State lost to a bunch of teams.
Yeah.
Houston, UConn. Yeah. These are teams that have lost to a lot of different college.
I would want to play if Missouri could pick and UConn was a 2, or even if UConn was the 1. If UConn was the 1, then maybe you want to play the 9.
We got their solution for Missouri: beat Oklahoma tonight, lose the next 2, lock in a 10 seed. The dream scenario.
I don't know who they would even play as a 7.
Well, it's a 10. Yeah, you go up against a 7 seed. So
it'd be power 4 probably
for sure.
Likelihood.
For sure.
Yeah.
7 seeds versus 10 seeds are all time 97 and 62 in the first round.
Those games are
8-9, 77 and 83. It's a true coin flip or close. You know what I mean?
So to your 1 point, Drew, it's like you're actually more likely to win the 8-9 game. Pretty significantly. You got a 50-50 shot of winning an 8-9 game. You only have like a 35% chance.
Yeah. In terms of likelihood, I would winning, I would rather be the 9. But in terms of like
a tournament run,
of being able to make a run, absolutely, I would rather.
Got to win the first one, but I'm with you. We'll see, guys.
We've
Selection
also seen
Sunday.
10 seeds make a run in the tournament. We didn't see 8 and 9s too often.
What, a week from
Kentucky that one year?
A week from Sunday, right?
Yeah.
A week from Sunday,
Yeah.
Selection Sunday? Hell yeah.
Right?
Conference tournaments are already starting this week.
Big 12 is next week.
Yep.
All right.
Crazy.
Can't wait. Let's get to the trash.
Trash of the day.
We go to South Korea for this one. This one was an interesting one to find this morning because initially you're like, okay, great. The police there seized some tax evaders. Great.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
So the problem is they seized it through crypto wallets, and the police there were not educated enough with the information they shared to the public. What I mean by that is
someone ripped it all
the
off?
agency had published a press release highlighting the tax enforcement operation that they did against 124 high-level tax evaders. But the problem was they had high-res images of the confiscated ledger wallets alongside the notes. And anybody that's dabbled at all in crypto knows that if you have like the key or these, the ledger, you can people can transfer the funds out. So what happened is they announced that we seized $4.8 million. They posted the image in the press release, and people stole the $4.8 million because they posted the wallet keys or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, that's
the seed phrases appeared.
That's an all-time mess up.
The seed phrases appeared in a widely distributed press release. They have no suspect. A university professor called the incident proof of a basic misunderstanding of how cryptocurrency works.
Look,
so
this company should understand it. One time, the Twitter password accidentally got posted in a photo, Drew. Like, Drew, look, hard at work.
Yeah,
and somebody
yeah.
posted our social media password that was written on the board behind them. And then, of course, somebody logged in and changed the password and put a bunch of crazy stuff up because that's the way it works. This is 100 million times worse. They just accidentally. So, like, you could have maybe hypothetically gone to court and been like, oh, no, that is my money. Let me prove I didn't tax evade. And instead, somebody else just ripped off the full 4.8. And it could have been a bunch of different people. Or it could have been just one person.
Totally.
Honestly, kudos to the person who quickly was like, I'm sorry, is that all the account information? Zoom in. Well, I'm just going to take that. It's mine now. Were they ever going to bust that guy? They managed to get these
no
people.
suspect so far.
No suspect so far. Ugh.
So they got the money back from the tax evaders, and then they got ripped off themselves.
I'm going to tell you right now, whichever person at the South Korean police department's job it was to post that social media, he's looking for a new job. That man, woman, whoever, they're looking for work. That meeting, Gold. You'd be like, hey, remember that?
Still, I would say pretty. Now, it's probably
bold to steal from the
established criminal, but pretty ballsy to see the police department put up basically the free keys to money and be like, well, I'm going to take those. Like, it's no different than.
Yeah, like if you were walking down the street and you saw a cop toss a Lamborghini key in an unlocked Lamborghini, you'd be like, I'm not taking that car.
Yeah. Well,
like I appreciate the free car, but I don't think I should do that.
One's easier to detect than others. Crypto, this person that stole the 4.8 million, going to be a lot tougher to eventually ever catch them.
Yeah, I would think so.
That is the trash of the day. Up next, Chiefs Red Half Hour. A couple more wide receivers, maybe not the top names, but in the middle of the market, who the Chiefs could be interested in. And a couple of players on the Miami Dolphins that I don't feel like have been talked about enough that I'd be interested in the trade. We'll get to that next here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Who's ever going to solve that problem for the police department is going to need good IT skills, Gold. They're going to have to figure out how to do that. You can have your own IT career. You can solve those mysteries. And more importantly, you can work in whatever field you want thanks to our friends over at Centric.
And learning the skills is only part of the journey. That's the thing with Centric. They're going to turn your skills into a career where people also need the support throughout the entire interview process and the resume building process. So they're going to have their career services team. They're going to coach you through the resume building, through the interview prep, and the actual guidance to land that IT job.
Russ is going to get you taken care of. Reach out to them at Centric.com and find out how this system will work for you, how the program can work for you, and how to get in that career you want. That's Centric.com.
DQ presents The Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ Soft Serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into Soft Serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more, designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements: more energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
At Casey's, when someone asked for a cup of coffee that wouldn't put them in debt, but still had freshly ground beans, rich flavor, and a price that starts with a 9 and ends with a D9 cents, we were too nice to say no. Now get a small coffee, just 99 cents. Limited time only. See store for details.
In Kansas, truth is told in speed. Wide open, full bore, and no mercy. Season momentum earned 3 and 4 wide. Loud, intense, inches predicting outcomes. Blink and miss.
They bang sideways!
What just happened? Pure speed whipping across the plains.
Hell yeah, boys!
NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, April 18th and 19th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
The Drive is presented by FanDuel. Basketball fans, it's almost time for the Super Trade Day sweepstakes. FanDuel is all about those three-pointer moments. And on March 3rd, that's 3-3, you'll have your own shot at a big win from downtown. Place a 3-point wager, and you'll be entered to win a share of over $3.3 million in bonus bets. All you need to do to take advantage of this promotion is to download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's the #1 sportsbook app. Go use the promo code LOCAL, FanDuel.com/local, to claim your profit boost to enter. Don't miss out on the Super Trade Day sweepstakes today only on FanDuel. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. No purchase necessary. Option required. Limit 1 per entry. Profit boost issued as non-withdrawable profit boost token. Prizes issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which is price 7 days. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-284-1238. 800-284-1238. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-284-1238.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Because shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
Hola, amigos! Brad Evans here. Check out this booming voice and Pat Boyle on BetMGM tonight, covering the biggest sports stories from coast to coast, live and interactive on the free Odyssey app, discussing NFL offseason news and getting you ready for the madness in college hoops. BetMGM tonight with me, Brad Evans and Pat Boyle, live and interactive, Monday through Friday night starting at 6 Eastern, presented by BetMGM. Always live on the free Odyssey app and watch on YouTube at BetMGM tonight.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour here on a Tuesday. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We're also keeping an eye on the NFL tag deadline, which is at 4 o'clock Eastern today. According to reports, the Jets have placed a franchise tag on Breece Hall. We're waiting to see if there's an update on Daniel Jones, quarterback for the Colts. They're trying to get a deal done. If not, he's likely to get the transition tag or franchise tag so they can spend some more time to work out a long-term deal. I think Daniel Jones will end up being the Week 1 starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, but it's something that we will certainly keep you guys aware of if there's an update on that.
There's some thought, obviously, that if they can get a long-term deal done with Daniel Jones, they might franchise tag Alec Pierce. And
that would help clear things up.
So that's part of the other part to watch. Alec Pierce stands to make a lot of money in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
If he can get to free agency, and that will largely depend on whether or not they get a deal done with Daniel Jones. So it's definitely worth paying attention to.
And that gets us into the wide receivers. You mentioned one in Alec Pierce, but let's get away from the top tier wide receiver market.
The Pierce, Hill, Mike Evans combination, essentially.
Yeah, in some of the middle-of-the-road wide receivers. The folks actually over at Arrowhead Attic were going through and some of the 10 free agents they think would fix the Chiefs' offense. We can take a look at some of the other positions if you want. I thought the quarterback mention was interesting as well. Running back was a name or two we mentioned. But wide receiver, here's a couple of the names they mentioned. One makes way more sense than the other. So Rashid Shaheed is on this list. Romeo Doubs, Jawan Jennings. One that doesn't make sense to me, though, is Rashid Shaheed. Great player, great trade for the Seahawks. One of the better in-season trades we've seen in a while. They already have speed. They already have an Xavier Worthy. Hell, they might even have a Tyquan Thornton already on the roster if they decide to bring him back. I just don't think they need Rashid Shaheed.
It doesn't feel like a direct need. And I looked at some of the lower-named guys as well, right? But, because I still think Greg Dortch is eventually going to be a Chief for whatever reason. Not this year necessarily, but just in general. I think if you're starting to mention those kinds of names, I think you're running into like the Hollywood Brown territory, which is I'm asking for the same amount of money. Can I get better than Hollywood Brown out of Rashid Shaheed? My answer is probably yes, but again, not the same skill set. And I think that's where you and I start thinking alike in a way that maybe it's someone like Dobbs.
Oh, the
maybe
names,
maybe it's the category of names that that aren't on this list that could actually fit some of the need. And I understand they're not all free agents. Some of them are guys you have to trade for, but there are some names that work.
Of the three that were mentioned in the article, though, Shaheed just to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Romeo Doubs, I'm very intrigued by. You want more of a physical receiver. Okay, he fits in that category, especially if you think Rashee Rice is not going to be available for a portion or any of the season. We'll see how that plays out. He's going to cost a little bit more than Rashid Shaheed, though, and so that's. But he's middle of the market. He's not getting the Alec Pierce $80 million contract.
Whatever Mike Evans gets.
Jawan Jennings, I actually think might end up getting way more money than we think. I was intrigued by him when we talked about him during the playoffs because what he was doing for the 49ers. He's 29 or will be 29 before the start of the season. And he's been available. He's also a really physical player. Talks a lot of trash, too. So if you just want some guy with a little bit of an attitude in a good way, I don't hate that option. He's also somebody that goes over the middle of the field, not afraid to. He can win. So Jawan Jennings is the most intriguing name of the three. I just don't know if he's going to be in the price range. Romeo Doubs actually seems fairly realistic coming out of Green Bay.
If you're mentioning price point and player type, I guess really what are you willing to accept, Gold? Like if let's say they take a second or third round wide receiver, which is unlikely to be the number one wide receiver for this team, although Rashee Rice did it in his rookie year out of the second round. What is the level of production you're willing to take, knowing that Rashee Rice might not very well be available, and we don't know what kind of developmental leap Xavier Worthy is going to get this year? Because the problem is, if you start marking it anywhere below the like Kirks, Hollywood Browns, Rashid Shaheeds of the world, I don't even know why I'm spending free agency money at that point. I'd rather just roll with Tyquan Thornton and hope that Rashee Rice doesn't get suspended, and then, like work your way up.
Let's talk out the wide receiver room for a second then. Okay, so Rashee Rice,
not very full.
Rashee Rice, let's say he misses time. Okay.
But he's available for at least part of this.
Let's say he misses time. Worthy's available. Jalen Royal's available, but complete wild card. Know nothing about him. Tyquan Thornton is a free agent, so you don't know if they're bringing him back.
No,
you still don't know if Travis Kelce's back for sure or not. There's plenty of targets to go around still in the offense. Do they bring in a running back that is a pass-catching threat?
They're actually going to throw to,
when we take a look at a name we're going to talk about in a second, or do they spend a high pick on a running back like Jeremiah Love? I think that changes the thought process and how you approach, and I understand the draft is after free agency, but how you navigate that will change perhaps where you're at. So I wonder, you look at the targets, like to me, I get what you're saying. You're concerned about operating in the middle of the free agent market for wide receiver, but they might need, unless they spend a high draft pick on
they need
wide
somebody
receiver,
to catch the football.
They need somebody that's going to be maybe the number 3 option, number 2 option, depending on how Travis Kelce's decision plays. And if I tell you Kelce doesn't come back, which I still think he will, well, then it changes everything. It changes to me at 9, maybe the pressure that you take someone. Yeah. It changes how aggressive you are in the wide receiver market.
It's a little bit like running back in the sense that there's a decent argument that you're going to need one in the middle tier market of wide receiver and a cheap one. So like what you just mentioned, right? Let's just say for the sake of the argument that the middle tier guy is Romeo Doubs, who's expected, according to Spot Track, $12 million a year. And then Greg Dortch, who I mentioned earlier, is expected to make a couple $1 million on a 1-year deal. Like you might have to get more than one or promise Tyquan way more touches. You and I talked about this. I am going into this offseason presuming Rashee Rice is not available at all, period. I don't know that as a fact, but I have to operate that way. Otherwise, I go into a year where the guy you're mentioning, like they actually, go through the trouble and they sign like a mid-tier guy in Romeo Doubs, and he's the one. He's the number 1 targeted wide receiver on the team. What the hell kind of wide receiver unit is that? That's not the way you want to go into a year. But it's tough because I don't want them spending on the high end of this price point either, where like I don't really Jawan Jennings and Alec Pierce, for the type of receivers they are, I'm not really looking to spend $22, $25 million a year. No thanks. Like that doesn't feel like it's worthy. At that point, I'd rather just take one at 9 and hope I'm good at evaluating talent.
I mean, they're going to clearly sign somebody. They're going to clearly draft a wide receiver at some point. They really only have 3 receivers.
I was going to say,
as we sit right this second, I understand there's
Jalen Royals.
It's Worthy Rice, and
that's it, right?
That's it. And I understand that they got some guys on the practice squad that can compete, and Jason Brownlee or whatever at camp. I'm talking about going to camp. I only want Brownlee competing for the 7th or 6th wide receiver role. Okay,
yeah.
He's not somebody. So to me, this is why I would bring back Tyquan Thornton though. Also, so I would like to go into the middle of free agency already having Rice, Worthy, Royals, Thornton. But right now they only have 3. One's a complete unknown and one may not be available. So they're going to have to sign a veteran wide receiver or 2, and they're going to have to draft a wide receiver. It doesn't have to be at 9, but they're going to have to spend a draft pick or 2 on that position. They just don't have the bodies in the wide receiver room.
I think that's where Bink is so locked in on the wide receiver position more than even edge or anything else. Is just
for that reason,
because there's nobody in that. There's nobody in that room.
It's just weird because without Rashee Rice, because I'm just presuming he's not available. Without Rashee Rice, it is the worst wide receiver unit in the NFL as of right now. There's not a single one worse. It's one. There's only 2 bodies.
Yeah, it's more of a.
So
it's a numbers thing more than anything else.
It's both. Sure. It's both. That would mean that their leading wide receiver would be a guy who had 600 yards.
Well, but if I told you they signed Mike Evans or something.
Sure. I just mean as of today.
Well, yeah, but again, I think it really is more about the numbers. I mean, in availability of players, I mean, you could. I don't think the Chiefs. You're not going into next season counting on Jalen Royals necessarily. I think Jalen Royals, best case scenario, he fills the Juju Smith-Schuster role. He's wide receiver 4. That's probably best case scenario for him next year.
Honestly, I would love that. I'm not even. I would bet on he gets less than that, but that's only because they didn't use him. They showed no interest in using him. Now it was not uber talented. I think some people mean this to mean talented. It was deep. 1 through 7. So it was hard for Royals to get targets because they had a lot of guys who could catch the football.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was good. I'm just saying there were a lot of people ahead of him on the depth chart, and that kind of created a thing. But he had a catch.
No, they didn't play late. Again, the issue we all had was the final 3 or 4 weeks when the season was over. They did not put him on the field. They should have tried to find out what they had in him.
But why, right? Maybe they didn't have anything.
Well,
maybe they need to find out.
Or the whole playbook thing. Well, he's still grasping the playbook.
This is the problem.
It's the dumbest thing
If you made
ever.
me right
Doesn't
now
make
take
sense.
the under on 150 yards for Royals, I probably would. Like, is it wrong that at the moment I'm not counting on anything from Jalen Royals at all? I know he's a 4th round pick, but
it's a complete wild card.
And I think this is where it gets interesting even more so. So, okay, you have to figure out the cap stuff and the money. Do you spend money to cover up that wide receiver position while also do you sign a running back knowing you have a wide receiver room that's 3 guys and you need at least 4? What wide receivers do you get? Because as of this point, based on evidence, if you're not taken in round 3 or higher, you're not playing for this team and to start off with.
Most likely.
But you might have a wide receiver that's suspended. That's where they're in this limbo of.
That's why they're going to sign a veteran wide receiver or 2.
Yeah, they might have to draft 2 and sign 2.
Yeah. And I'm fine with that.
But then you also have to sign a running back. And then do you draft a running back? Where does edge come into all of this? I think that's where it gets messy.
This is why, as we talk it out about the roster, look, they won 6 games. Do I think they're actually that bad of a roster? No. But this is why I don't think in 2026 that they are going to just be one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the AFC immediately again. I think they are going to have to really fight for a wild card spot
Rashid
next
getting
year.
Suspended also.
That doesn't help.
In all likelihood,
if he gets suspended.
anything, if he does, then that proves. I think I don't know if I'd go as far as to say we lean that way, but based on the conversation that we're having now, I'm leaning more, not all the way in the direction that you're at, Gold, but it makes more sense why you're saying why that take makes complete sense because of the holes that you have in the roster that you might just not have enough draft picks or cap compensation to fill.
This is where, and we've already talked about it a lot, I'm sure we will continue to, this is where the Trent McDuffie scenario gets really fascinating.
That too.
Because, well, yes, trading him would create a hole at corner, but you need additional draft picks and you need to fill these voids. Or
you think that Noah Williams could potentially fill that spot up, or somebody
next year? Like Christian Fulton's on the roster this year. Noah Williams is. Jalen Watson, you got to make a decision on. Trent McDuffie, technically don't have to do anything. You can just roll. You can just continue to play it out.
He could be under contract for 3 more years, and actually, they don't have to do a thing to keep him for 3 more years. Play out this year, franchise tag him again. We've looked at the numbers.
I don't know the last player that got double franchise tag, but I get the point.
It happens every once in a while, and in fairness, I get. Well, actually, it's the 5th-year option. This is year 4,
and then fifth year, then a franchise tag.
Hell, I mean, he's got. Like, they don't have to do anything with Trent McDuffie. They can just keep paying him forever,
The question is, by the time you are back to being the top team, maybe in the AFC, whether you think that's this year, 27 or 28, are you better off just go ahead and for a year or two, not punting on 26, but setting yourself up better for 27? And does Trent McDuffie bring back a first-round pick and something?
Look, this also comes back to the conversation we had a couple of weeks ago, where I told you maybe the solution to all this wide receiver stuff is a trade. You have now brought up 2 names, both Miami Dolphins, one at running back and one at wide receiver. We've talked running back and wide receiver today. Do we just rob the Miami Dolphins? They've got 2 available players.
Yeah, the 2 names that I feel like nobody's talking enough about, and maybe teams are waiting to see how free agency plays out. I know Dan Graziano says he doesn't think Achane will get traded, but Devon Achane and Jalen Waddle on a team that is clearly rebuilding. It's not even, it's obvious. Okay?
It might be the most obvious rebuild situation in the NFL this season.
Achane's 24, going to need a brand new deal. It's going to be pricey. Jalen Waddle, you don't have to give a new deal right away. He's making 11.6 on the cap this year. He's got 2 more years on the contract after this, where he's making $33 million a year. That's the tricky part with his. But if you're trying to look at exploring options, those are 2 names I like. The issue is the Chiefs don't have a ton of draft picks. So when you think about, are you willing to trade, let's say, a 4th round pick, okay, the Chiefs.
Then you got to be willing to trade down in the first, trade down in the second.
That's how you would pull it off.
And to recoup it in some capacity. I'll be honest. The more we talk about wide receiver, I could be talked into anything. I got excited briefly just because I saw Schefter sent out that said the Vikings are now willing to trade, and I saw a J, and I thought, Justin Jefferson? And it was green, and it was like the linebacker or whatever. It's like, oh, please. So am I interested? The real question with Jalen Waddle is, this is a question, are you a good enough offense if Jalen Waddle is your number 1? And I think it's real fringe. I think it's right. It'd be like if Cincinnati asked themselves, are we a good enough offense if T. Higgins is our 1? I think it is very fringe, right on the line. And with Patrick Mahomes, I tend to lean that you're over the line. Yeah, you're good enough if Jalen Waddle. What happens
in the scenario where Rice somehow doesn't get suspended, even if it's unlikely? Well, then you got Rice and Waddle and Worthy and a rookie wide receiver, and you're like, okay, this actually works.
Then you're kind of rolling a little bit, and I actually feel pretty good about it. Year 3 is Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice on the field, and Waddle. Now that's a receiver unit. That's an NFL caliber top, 8 to 10 receiver unit.
And Tyreek Hill joins you in October or November.
Fine. Well,
I mean, that makes
now
it
we're just making the dream.
All are very plausible scenarios.
Sure. But I'll tell you right now, and I'd make this is one of those calls I'd make once a week just to make sure. Once a week, if I were Brett Veach, I'd call up Miami and be like, "Are you sure you don't want a 4th for Achane? How about a 3rd? Because it's like getting Jeremiah Love, but it's already done. It's a done deal. He was a 1,300-yard back. He's got speed. He can catch. Like, he's the style of running back the Chiefs are actively looking for. If Miami really would move off Achane, I'd make that call once a week until they did. Or at least until they told me no so many times I knew it was never going to happen. Like, if you got me the choice to trade, even if they were the same draft pick compensation, which I don't think they would be, but even if they were, Achane? Ooh,
like someone says,
that's a great fit.
An example of compensation. I don't think this is what it would take at all. So the answer would be no. Someone says, would you give up pick 9 for Achane and Waddle? No, because I don't think that's what it would take. Even if I was getting both players, I don't think you have to give up the 9th overall pick. No. Knowing that you have to give contracts to Achane and potentially Waddle, that's not. I need way more for the 9th pick than Achane and Waddle. That's a hell of a trade for the Dolphins if they pulled that off. Am I off on that? Do you guys disagree? I think that would be way. I agree. I'm not giving up 9 for Achane and Waddle, knowing the contracts that I might have to work on and all that. No, absolutely not.
I'd have to get like a 3rd as well, or something like. Or
yeah, give up 9, and I get their first round. We pick swap or something.
Yeah, 9,
and I give them a 3rd. Like we pick swap, and I give them a 3rd. Like if you told me I give up 9, I get 20, or where are the Dolphins picking? Sorry.
That's a good question.
In the second round. I'm talking about the second round pick, sorry. So not a true first round pick swap because they're picking right where the Chiefs are.
And they're picking 11th in the first round.
So not a pick swap. It would have to, there's no scenario where I'm giving up the 9th pick.
You'd have to get an extra 2nd or their 2nd or their 3rd.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's going to genuinely.
Someone says we have Achane, Brashard Smith and Achane are the exact player size and weight. Okay, so look.
If we're just talking about
one's just better than the other one,
man, that's like saying Patrick Mahomes and Jackson Dart are the same size. And I don't know if they are. I'm just saying, look,
I like Brashard Smith and thought he should have played more last year. But just because he has the same dimensions of Achane doesn't mean it's the same. He's Achane. Come on.
I gotta say,
every person, the next guy that's the same size as DK Metcalf doesn't automatically mean he's DK Metcalf.
If they're worth the same, then they should trade Brashard Smith right now and get whatever.
No, they should just play. They don't need to trade Brashard Smith at all. They should just play.
I guess so.
He's Devon Achane. Just play him. They don't need, hell, you know what? Matter of fact,
come on now.
Great news text line. They don't even need a running back. Problem solved.
Well, that's what the person was trying to say.
He's Devon Achane. I mean, seriously though, that's crazy. Yeah, look, there is no team in the NFL. There's 2 teams I think quitting the most in the NFL this year. They are the Arizona Cardinals and the Miami Dolphins. I think the Jets are trying harder to win this year than Miami. Miami has cut Tyreek Hill, cut Bradley Chubb. They're just shedding contracts. What are they holding on to Achane for? It's running back.
Miami's prepping for next year.
But this is stupid. This is running back, Drew. You can't. How long are they going to be good for? You're going to hold on and hope what? You get Arch Manning? Hope you get Dante Moore? Hope you're so bad you're picking number 1 overall? And that Achane will be a nice weapon for him at that time? Well, then I guess hold on to Waddle too and re-sign Tyreek. Trying to save your roster for a year. No, just get another 3rd round pick. Take another player. try to build up a super young, talented roster before you take the quarterback next year. Like, Miami should be in a full sell. There is no
pathway. They're looking forward to 2027 because the quarterbacks are all going to be there, all that other stuff.
There is, I'm not even kidding. Even if they signed like Kyler Murray, there is no pathway for Miami to win this year. Like
being in the division that they're into now that it's better with Allen and then Drake May looks like he's at least good enough.
If they let all of the top 5 GMs in the league, right? Howie Roseman and Brett Veach and 3 others, they all got together in a powwow, and it's now their new job to make the Miami Dolphins a playoff team this year. It's their only interest, and they traded away all their draft picks. I don't think they'd make it. They could trade for Andy Reid, sign every free agent, spend all their money. I don't think Miami has any pathway to being a playoff team this year. I think it's impossible.
Yeah, they're going to have one of the lowest win totals. Nobody's disagreeing.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, see if Achane's available. That's all.
Yep. Those are 2 names I'd be very intrigued by.
Any other Dolphins? Now you got me interested. maybe the entire Dolphins roster should be up for grabs. They cut Chubb, didn't they?
Yep. Bradley Chubb's a free agent.
Isn't he 31, 2, something like that?
But that's the type of defensive
Gordon,
end that
he's any good?
That's the type of Bradley Chubb will be 30 to start the year. He turns 29 in June.
Even younger.
He's the only, like, if we talk about free agent edge rushers, that's about as good as you're going to find.
How much is he costing?
More than we think.
Because Trey Hendrickson probably makes he probably makes more than Bradley Chubb, even though he's older than Bradley Chubb.
I don't know, $12 million a year. It's not going to be.
Let's try to look at Spot Track projected. If there was any projections out there, I'm not sure on what that exact contract would look like.
Because Hendrickson's probably around $20 million a year for a year.
Chubb led the Dolphins in sacks last year. He's going to get more than we think. Someone says I'm about the same size as Devontae Adams. Sign me up. Let's go. Let's go.
It's going to heighten weight on you, Gold. You're just the same as any. I get what he's saying. This just goes back to the initial thing. And I don't even mean this when we have to have these conversations, why we do training camp, Darling Island, and everything else. We have fun with it. The odds of you finding, they found a starting NFL running back in the 7th round. The odds of them finding that again in Brashard Smith are almost none. It's just not a likely scenario or place to continue to find.
Yeah, this is not even the point. Someone says, how do you know Smith is an Achane? He barely played. That was not the point. The texter was saying that they have someone the exact same size as Achane, so they don't need him. And that's just, you're right. I don't know what Brashard Smith is, but the logic of don't trade for Achane because you already have him on the roster because they have the same height is insane to me.
It's just we already have a Devon Achane at home because I got Brashard Smith. I don't think it's the same. It's and again, maybe he is good. But I'll tell you this. This one last thing on Brashard Smith, and I know I got to get to a break. Nothing the Chiefs have said, done, or operated as implies that they think Brashard Smith is good. Okay? So I'm just going to say that. They have targeted other free agent running backs. They're apparently constantly in the market. Everyone says they're going to take Jeremiah Love at 9. Nothing about the Chiefs' actions to this point suggests that they think Brashard Smith is good. They wouldn't even play him in a lost season. He didn't play till the Raiders and, at the week 18. They didn't put that man on the field. They were not interested in playing Brashard Smith.
They could also be wrong, right?
Oh, and
we certainly wanted to see him play more at the end. I think he has a spot on the roster next year. I wouldn't mind him as the number 3 running back for this team and have him in a spell role and try to be more creative with how they utilize all the running backs. But we'll see. This is what's fun about the offseason. As the league year opens up next week, franchise tag deadline is this afternoon. The NFL draft is the end of April. A lot happening in the National Football League. Up next, we'll get you caught up on some of the things that have happened in sports with what's trending. Plus, we'll talk more about what Bobby Wood Jr. had to say as the WBC gets going this week. And he has a chance to really put his name even more on the map than what it is already nationally and internationally.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Presenting a Gain Flings love story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
My car smells fresh, so fresh, always so fresh every day. My car smells fresh, so fresh, like I cleaned it yesterday. Got that Febreze car on the vents, living life with that just clean freshness. Febreze car, if you know, up to 40 days a scent on low. My car smells fresh, so fresh, always so fresh every day. My car smells fresh, so fresh, like I cleaned it yesterday. That's right, breathe happy Febreze, la 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 la.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
Hi, I'm Jacob, your friend and an actual jeweler at Shane Company. I'm proud to work for a family business that's been committed to the highest quality standards for nearly 100 years. Your dream engagement ring is designed for quality every step of the way. We set your diamond by hand, never with machines. Prong tips are beautiful and secure, and intricate details are thoughtfully crafted. At Shane Company, there's no shortcuts, just craftsmanship. Because a friend knows true love deserves the highest quality. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Did your HVAC struggle through this rough winter? When it comes to your home comfort, trust the local experts at Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Right now, you can save up to $2,000 on a new HVAC system with our trade-in allowance program. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews, plus our exceptional service guarantee, means you get safe, reliable service and peace of mind. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Chick-fil-A's new frosted sodas and floats, it's a 10 out of 10. Hey, this is Lizzie, a team member at my local Chick-fil-A, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and new frosted sodas and floats is how well they go together. You will love having your favorite soda blended with our creamy ice cream to make a new frosted soda or float. With the mix of the ice cream and soda fizz, it's so delicious, I call it Fizzalicious.
Order a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and a new frosted soda and float at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant. Real team member paid for their testimonial.
Beyond the Pitch KC, a new podcast hosted by Scott Parks and Rob Brenton, telling the stories behind the World Cup in Kansas City. Starts Wednesday, March 4th on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station. What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti.
Number one on What's Trending, it is NFL franchise tag deadline day. That's at 4 o'clock Eastern. So here's what's happened so far today. Kenneth Walker will not be getting the franchise tag. The Super Bowl MVP running back for the Seattle Seahawks, this according to Pete Schrager. He will be a true unrestricted free agent at the start of the league year. Does not mean he can't go back to Seattle, but he could become one of just, now I guess he'd be the fourth Super Bowl MVP not to play with the same team the next year. This doesn't really happen all that often. Also, Breece Hall has been tagged by the New York Jets. And not a transition tag, it is the franchise tag as they try to work out a long-term deal. As far as what that means, I think locally, I would say we can stop really talking about Breece Hall. I understand they could trade him. I just don't think that's going to happen. New York is placing the $14.2 million franchise tag on Breece Hall.
Next up on What's Trending, local college hoops tonight. All three teams in action. MU will take on Oklahoma on the road. KU will be at Arizona State tonight, and Kansas State will be hosting West Virginia. MU with a win, we think, will be in the tournament without any real questions. KU can lock in a double bye in the Big 12 tournament with a win against Arizona State tonight. Kansas State currently tied for last place in the Big 12. If they lost and Utah were to beat Colorado at home, which is not impossible, then they would be in dead last place in the Big 12. That'd be pretty bleak, man.
Yeah.
Pretty bleak.
Elsewhere on What's Trending, Royal Spring Training continues out in Surprise today as the WBC gets close to starting up. We've got MLB teams playing countries. So the Royals are actually playing Cuba today at 2:05 Central Time. Burgard gets the nod for the Royals today. We'll talk more about the WBC in a bit. You'll hear what Bobby Wood Jr. had to say as he gets set to represent the U.S., represent the Royals. He's leading off today for Team USA, and we'll talk about more. Just an unbelievable opportunity for him to further grow his brand and help him, I actually think, in the MVP conversation in Major League Baseball.
I mean, really is. You're hitting leadoff for the U.S. in the WBC, and Aaron Judge is hitting behind you. You got at least a decent chance to draw more eyeballs your direction if you're Bobby Wood Jr. Next up on What's Trending, the NFL has announced yet another international team. The Falcons will play in Madrid this season, that according to multiple reports. We now know that the Jags will play 2 games in London. We do not know their opponent yet. The Commanders, Falcons, 49ers twice, Lions, Saints, and Cowboys have all been announced. The only road team that's been announced is the 49ers and Rams to open up in Melbourne, Australia. So the Chiefs will have to face one of these teams on the road if they're going to do it. There's only 2. Gold as it sits right now that they possibly could face. That is the Falcons and there's one other team they've got.
Bengals, right?
But they're not hosting any of them. Maybe it's just the Falcons left.
I think that's the only opportunity for the Chiefs to
Commanders.
play.
Do they have the Commanders?
Nope.
All right, Falcons it is. Very limited options
the
for
Chiefs
Kansas
play.
City. That game would be in Madrid.
Okay. We are 100 days away, technically less than that now, 99 days and 11 hours and 54 minutes and 52 seconds away from
the timer up?
I did. For the FIFA World Cup 2026 kicking off. And as a whole, we know in Kansas City, got to wait a few more days as the first group match will be Argentina-Algeria on June 16th, Ecuador-Curacao on the 20th of June, Tunisia-Netherlands June 25th, and then Algeria-Austria, the last group stage match before Kansas City gets the round of 32 on July 3rd, and then July 11th, talk about a stage there, a quarterfinal match at Arrowhead. That should be pretty special.
It is still pretty crazy to see the thing and be like, Kansas City still anticipates 650,000 visitors
I keep
to come
asking
to the
you.
area. 650,000 visitors.
Yeah, I'm
to the area.
I'm excited just to see what it all means. One, to go to a match, as I know you guys are as well. Drew, you've got tickets for one of them as well. I'm excited for the game, but I also am fascinated. What does this city feel like for that month? Is it something where when you're downtown only you feel it? Because I know when you're downtown you'll notice it. Will you notice it out in the suburbs? What will it be? We know this is new to everybody. They've got estimations on everything, but nobody knows for sure. But the World Cup, man, going to be a lot of excitement as we get to June.
I've still done zero research on the possibility of renting out.
You better make a decision. It's March. Get the house on list that thing on Airbnb. Lock all your stuff in the bedroom. Go make yourself like $4 or $5 grand. and you and your family are already going to be out of town anyway.
It's like every time I look, this house is in my neighborhood according to the map, and they're asking $6,000 for the days I'm gone.
Cody, I don't know why you guys. Is it just because are you worried?
Oh, actually, my house is closer. I apologize.
Are you worried? Is that what it is? Is it more of like, or is it just the hassle?
It's like
of
the
it?
hassle.
Yeah,
you know, you
'Cause
got
to get insurance and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Even if you're not planning on doing it, they're asking $6,210 for the same nights I'll be gone. This house is in Gladstone, where I live.
That's what's trending. I'm just saying, man. You can pay for your daughter's dance trip to Dallas right there. Boom.
I know.
Boom.
That's the appeal. You know, just having $6,000 in your pocket to go spend it somewhere else. But
Well, of course, you always find a way. That money will be allocated elsewhere.
it's not like I told you my hotel is like twice as expensive as it was last year in Dallas.
Well, because they're also having World Cup.
Not
stuff.
kidding. I actively try to convince my daughter's dance studio to go anywhere else. I was like, can we please go anywhere besides a city that is hosting a World Cup match? That seems like a bad idea. And I would like to be, if I'm leaving this city, a World Cup city for another one, I kind of want the freedom of not being stuck with the additional traffic, the additional people. Like, I'll deal with it in my city. That's fine. But I don't want to travel to another one unless I'm going to see a game. I'll just be sitting in an auditorium.
Yeah. Do you think? I'm curious. I'm curious. If anybody listening is Airbnb their place.
Is it more common than? I mean, obviously, people are gonna.
Drew, when you look at those price tags, it'll be a lot more common this time around.
Yeah,
because
I understandably so.
It's difficult. Like, it's very, very, very difficult. They said it's easy. Create a listing in just a few steps and get one-on-one support and experienced hosts at the time. They're saying, like, I don't know, you'll have no problem. Just right away. So, you know what? I think tonight's the night. We're having a conversation. Time to get some money in our pockets. If I told you right now I could list it for $4,000 and it would book immediately for those days I'm gone, how am I supposed to turn down? Like, if I just lowball it, Gold. You know, you bought those. You bought World Cup tickets, didn't you? You ended up buying that whole set.
I went in with a friend on those. Yep. Yeah. So I have tickets technically to 3 matches. Not sure.
You're not planning on attending.
I'm not going to all 3,
including the round of 32, or is that
no?
a
I wish.
That'd be
No. I have
You would
tickets.
have to go for that one.
I have Category 1
I'd pay
tickets
for all the other tickets if we had those.
The Category 1. Category 1 is lower level and part of club level. They don't give you your exact seat assignment yet. So yeah, I have Ecuador, Curacao, Algeria, Austria, and then the Tunisia Netherlands match. I unfortunately did not get selected for the Argentina match.
Someone says, I'm kind of nervous. He says it's costing his neighbors. They're doing it. Their neighbor said it's costing their neighbors $2,000 or thousands to prepare. I guess why thousands to prepare?
Is it like is it a liability type thing? Do you have to get something extra? You have to get a permit? Is that what the process is?
I do think I would have to I got to set aside, like I told you, the master closet I would install a deadbolt on. So I would have to do something because I'm not going to empty my whole house in order, but you got to pay someone to clean it professionally. It's got to look good,
And then afterwards.
So it's not all, and I would pay someone to clean it again. It's not all pure profit.
Yeah.
And do you buy, you probably don't want them on your sheets. You don't know who they are. You probably buy a set of sheets to put on there or I'm sure there is some investment cost.
If you would have met them before, would you have let them sleep under sheets? Given your history of allowing Kramer to sleep in your bed? I'm just curious.
No, I think Cody has to lock the master bedroom,
yes,
put any valuables in there, and shut off the master bedroom.
Legitimately, if you do Airbnb, what can I get? 3-bedroom, 4-bath house.
I think you get
with a porch,
for 6 days. I think you get $4,000, $3,500.
Yeah, it's pretty tempting. That's pretty tempting.
There'll be plenty more questions we all have as we get closer. Legitimate ones. Someone texted in. This is from the 816 said, "Hey, I work for Northland PD, and KCPD is asking other departments for help, and we have all told KC no because we don't know how our own cities are going to look." Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe there was just some funding passed that both on the Kansas and Missouri side, they're getting access to millions of dollars to help with the security aspect of of this because that's a huge issue, of course.
They expect 650,000 additional people to come through the city during that time. I mean, that's not a small. You will notice that, no matter which part of town you're in. You're in Alex's part of town, my part of town, Drew's part of town. You're going to notice 650,000 people being in your city.
Do we know who is at Sporting again? Who is it Argentina? Is Argentina the team that's
Argentina is going to be at Compass Mineral?
Yeah.
Facility, and England's going to be at Swope, if I'm not mistaken. Algeria's at Rock Chalk Park in Lawrence, And
then Casey Curran is the Dutch.
Netherlands is yeah.
I'm just thinking of like those areas, like because I know it's not directly Sporting's facility, but in that area, how many people are going to be staying in Legends?
Sure.
Like Legends,
it's going to be all
obviously,
over.
It's the outlets anyways, but that area will be more populated with Argentinian fans because they want to, if they have access to open practices at any point, then, being closer to where the team is and all those other things.
It's a new experience for all of us. This is one of the, nobody can be like, this is exactly how it's going to go. FIFA can tell you here's how it goes in other countries, but everybody's still somewhat educated, use educated guess on exactly how it's going to look.
And the home base part of Kansas City is going to change the math for this city in particular. The fact that very popular, dedicated fan bases like the Netherlands, England, and Argentina have all chosen this area to be their home base. Just adds a whole nother element to the Kansas City part of it. So
someone's like Gold's got to open up the dating pool when
you're saying when the Netherlands comes to town, with their fan base, the Dutch,
the English,
that's
the Argentinian women.
Heard good things about the Dutch.
Yeah, okay.
I think you throw on some orange and maybe do the walk to the
you
stadium.
want me to walk with them to the stadium? I'm sure.
I have heard. So Rob
looks
said,
cool.
Rob is. I don't know if Rob said the Dutch fans are notorious for being very, very, very fun to be around.
Yeah. I have seen the walk.
I'm kind of glad that they're playing.
In fairness, I've met one person from the Netherlands. I worked with him when I was at Skies. He was an international intern.
Okay.
He still lives in Kansas City and is a professional darts player. He was an awesome time to hang out with. The entire time we hung out.
I'm looking forward to going to the Netherlands game.
Jules was at least a good time to hang out with.
It's going to be an interesting month. Going to be an interesting month when we get to June. And the Beyond the Pitch podcast is now available, isn't it? From
March.
Tomorrow.
March 4th, right?
Scott Parks and Rob Britton comes out tomorrow.
It is. Somebody mentioned Virgil van Dijk is going to be in Prairie. So he obviously is.
That's where they're basing. Yeah.
So I think because I wonder if like German fans felt the same way when Patrick Mahomes was in there. But I think there is something to Lionel Messi. I know that he's been in MLS, so it's a little bit different where he's been here. But it's Lionel Messi's in this city, like these guys that we never have in America. Like Harry Kane is going to be in like Jude Bellingham is going to be like. I think that there's. Like in terms of like Kylian Mbappe, even though he just recently got injured, I don't know if he's going to play. I don't think he can.
France is not coming here, but that would have been awesome.
But I think having those types of players in the same city as you is kind of surreal to think about for sure.
It's crazy. It's going to be a crazy time. Looking forward to it, man. 100 days away. Wasn't planning on talking about that, but when it's 100 days away, it feels natural. Meanwhile, for USA baseball, not soccer, but still the same, the World Baseball Classic starts up later this week for real games. They have friendlies all throughout spring training today, including the U.S. is taking on Cuba and some others. I think Italy's taking on the Cubs, so we'll see Vinny and Jack Caglione on a squad together. But as you mentioned with Bobby Wood Jr., he's in leadoff for Team USA. He's the full-time starting shortstop. Like, there is a point to what you said on the MVP front, name recognition, ability to, like, grow his brand. The WBC can do that. It can be like the kicking off point for Bobby Wood Jr. It can't do all of it. He's got to do some of that in the season. But it absolutely can grow what people and who knows about Bobby.
Absolutely can raise the profile. Imagine if the U.S. is fortunate enough, they get out of the group stage, of course, but they get into, maybe they're fortunate enough to be in the championship game or something that magnitude, and Bobby Wood Jr. has an opportunity to have a game-winning hit, a walk-off hit, or it comes with an unbelievable play defensively, and everybody's watching his name. I know baseball fans know the name Bobby Wood Jr. That's not the issue. But still, the clutch moment, he's only played in, postseason one time to this point in his career. So there are still a lot of fans that haven't seen him in the biggest moments. And so this could set up for a huge moment, and let's see what he does with it. And I do think it could help his case if he has the numbers this year, that come August, September, and it's a MVP push, him and, I don't know, we'll say Aaron Judge again or somebody, that he's got a better chance because of the name rec and profile that exists. And people, I remember that. I loved watching him play in the WBC when he was representing the U.S. and he made that play to help the U.S. win it. Whatever it may be, I think it has a chance to have a trickle-down effect in only a positive way for Bobby Wood Jr. And it is cool that he gets to lead off on a team that has, of course, all these stars. And Aaron Judge is, the team captain. I saw he was giving out a speech yesterday. And this is what Bobby had to say about the WBC. Remember, he did play in this before, but he was very, very early on in his career at that point.
going through your mind?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Just the guys that are out here, the camaraderie I feel like we've already built, and just getting to represent these 3 letters across the chest means everything.
The fact that you already did this as a way youngster, what did that experience, how does it help you this go around?
Yeah, I think it brings more motivation just because of the outcome, but then also just knowing the energy, every inning, every game, play it like it's your last.
Mark DeRosa got up and spoke to the troops. What was that like?
Fired us up. It was awesome, and just kind of getting us going, just introducing everyone, and just how everyone wants to be here. There's no one that's been asked and be like, I don't know. Everyone wants to be here, and it's a team game now, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I keep going back to the moment where Ohtani faced Trout, and you were sitting there watching that up close. Did that give you extra motivation, that moment there, to bring home the title to Team USA 3 years later?
Yeah, I don't think we need any more motivation just because we want to go out there and show what we're capable of. This team that we have is special, and we're going to go out there and have some fun.
Yeah, and I hope Bobby gets that opportunity where, maybe they are taking on Japan, Cody, or something like that. And
they're one of the favorites.
And it's Ohtani pitching to Bobby Witt Jr. Can you imagine that? Like that would be awesome.
For the text line who was that, yeah, it would be awesome. And that's why it can all grow. Text line was asking, by the way, that game be televised. Yeah, it's on ESPN. You can watch US, and Bobby Witt Jr. hit leadoff today. I mean, the lineup is crazy. Witt, just looks like the Dodgers, I guess. Witt, Bryce Harper, Judge, Schwarber, Bregman, Cal Raleigh, Roman Anthony, Buxton. It's like, yeah.
How about Roman Anthony getting on the team?
Good for him.
And starting lineup right away.
Yeah. And look, that
got
was
called up last year.
Bobby Witt Jr. was not really given much of an opportunity to play in the WBC the last time around. He is now one of the best baseball players on the planet. And that just goes back to that same thought. And look, baseball is in a weird spot. You and I have talked about this. Like, we were talking about the cap numbers earlier. That the estimate that John Heyman had put out that maybe the league's first seeking is $160 to $180 million cap floor, $260 to $280 million, or $240 to $260 million cap ceiling. And so, like, if you look at that, we're like, well, like 5 teams would be over the cap already, but 12 would be below it. And like, this just kind of goes back to that report late last week over at Front Office Sports. It was talking about the Braves and the Battery, and that their district next to the park went up 45% in revenue last year. And that meant it brought in $97 million. And look, they make a joke over at Front Office Sports that that's more than the projected payrolls of both the Guardians and the Marlins this year. But there's some truth in that. The Royals, if this cap thing is to happen, and just for future competitive sake, they got to figure out a way, because I do think John Sherman's shown a willingness to spend at least some money. And if he is, the more money he can bring in, I think more likely the more money will be spent on the team. This is why I still want to know, wherever they choose this next stadium, what is their plan for development around it? Even though there's a limited amount near Washington Square Park, I don't think they're going to have no businesses. I don't think they're not going to buy up anything or own anything down there. I think they'll try to own something. The question is what? And it's never going to look like the Battery. That was what they
on that side it won't.
No. That was what they were trying it. Maybe 119th
and all site.
Yeah. And I think the old East Village site, Gold, had the potential for some of that stuff. There are other downtown sites that have more inability to do that. It's now March 3rd, so I don't know.
Those numbers you point
tell you
out,
something, yeah.
we've known that for multiple years, why the Royals and why every team, whether it's baseball or football, are interested in owning the real estate around their stadiums. Is a huge revenue opportunity. It's why the Chiefs are building what they're building. It's you go and look at why Chicago Bears are potentially going to do what they're going to do, and why every single team just about that's getting a new stadium are looking to own the real estate around the stadium. Is a massive revenue making opportunity. And yeah, your hope is that a good chunk of it goes back into the team. That's at least been kind of the selling point. They're going to have to prove it with their actions down the road if that's in fact what they do. I hope that that's truly how it operates.
Yeah, honestly,
the Braves are about to be for sale too. The rumor is that in that same article it mentions that the Braves might be selling soon.
Well, and this is I guess the other part that's good about Sherman. Think about the investment. You buy him, you build this whole park up. Now it's worth so much money because you're like, or you just continue to own part of the Battery and you're like, well, I'll just keep chipping in money there. The Royals, and this is at least a good thing about the way that they have sold their team really since the Kaufman days. They have consistently, for whatever reason, chosen to vet, and I'm not saying this is common, vet the people they're selling it to make sure that they have some Kansas City ties or interests. And so, like, that was a huge thing.
Most of the ownership group is all
Kaufman.
it's full of the current ownership group is full of.
But
Kansas City
that's
people,
not common in other places. Yeah. So there's an advantage in this, like, John Sherman's not, and I guess this is the part that I like why I'm pro ballpark in a lot of ways, but they're not doing this just to flip it, maybe, right? Like maybe the Braves did. Oh, look, we got all this investment. Thanks for all. Now we're going to sell it for a $2 billion profit, and good luck with the new ownership. Hope they spend some money. But they might spend less because you know what? They got big balloon debt payments on the stadium that they just purchased and the ballpark village they own and the team they just bought. The Royals were bought, and this is where Sherman should be able to spend money. The Royals were bought for far below their current market value. They get a new stadium on top of it. This team is going to be worth 6 times what John Sherman paid for. He paid $1 billion, it'll be worth $5 or $6 billion. In 5 years from now, if they've got a new stadium and part of a ballpark village, there'd be no reason, in my opinion, not to put money into the team. And so I am optimistic that he would put some money into the team, and we can watch a consistent competitor and watch guys like the aforementioned Bobby Witt Jr. continue to play in Kansas City, not constantly live in fear of how many years left do I have? How many more times? Because Bobby's a great example of a willingness to spend money. That is triple the highest contract any Royals player's ever gotten, essentially. Right? I mean, pretty close to it. Salvador Perez for the longest time, Gold was the highest paid Royal of all time. He was making like $80 million. They gave Bobby Witt Jr., including all the options, well over $3 million. So if like he's willing to opt in, which he probably won't be, because he's getting ready to make a bunch of money. Well, not getting ready. 5 years.
No, but no matter
what,
what, he's going to opt out. Does it guarantee that he's not back at that point in time? No, but just from a financial, and he's absolutely going to opt out of the deal when he can, and hopefully at that point in time, we'll see where the Royals are at and on-field success and financials and all of that, and where Bobby Witt Jr.'s at. But we got a couple years, so we got to worry about that. Don't get people freaking out about the opt-out yet.
No.
We got 3-4 years.
I said, but I don't like thinking it. Before it was like before they even signed an original contract. You know, someone's saying, Gold, that even though we have one of the more embarrassing basketball videos that exists in the city.
Yes, we do.
Somebody said there was a video of Mayor Lucas put out of him shooting a basketball. It makes us look good.
I don't know if that's what they said. They said it gives us a run for our money. But
dude, it's pretty bad. Why does he shoot the ball with one hand?
I don't know. Now, it's because the Big 12 has the new glass floor, which is really cool. We've talked about that. And last night they had a media event, too. So media were out there getting a chance to check it out because it's going to be kind of cool to see how quickly they can change the court and what they can do with it and
the glass
technology.
Floor.
But, I did not see the mayor's video.
It was a brick. Really, his shooting style was weird. My shot's coming back a little bit, Drew. I'm making more shots every time I go to the court with my kid. I'm not a good shooter, but like at least I can make,
I need to find a
30% or whatever when we're just standing in a gym.
I need to find a gym to go either play pickup in or a league of some kind. I got to get back to playing.
Dude, you can find that anywhere. All over the city.
I mean, I've looked. Like I don't know where to look.
I get invited to. I'm not kidding. I get invited to a pickup game every week.
I don't get out. I have never been asked.
You just want me to tell you where that one is?
Yeah,
you can just
get
go
me
there.
linked up with the people who are asking you.
Sure. I don't ever play. It's on the night I teach, and I'm bad. I do play an aggressive style of defense, and as you know, in a home game, nobody's ever calling a foul anyway. So, I play a physical brand of defense. It's the only way.
A physical brand of defense. Cody Tapp.
Cody's out here like Lou Dort. As long as you're not tripping guys like Lou Dort, though, then you're all right. As long, if you're like Jose Alvarado,
I do what it takes to win, Drew. Do what it takes to win.
That would concern me.
Yeah, it should.
Getting a rebound and tripping the best player, sticking your foot out like you're.
I'm not dirty. I'm not.
Someone says, Drew, Someone says that you should go to Hy-Vee Arena. They have games there every
straight
night.
up pick up, or do I have to, or do I have to pay?
I don't know. That's just someone texting in. You can go text that person back.
No, I will.
They will help you. Up next, we'll get to the random question of the day. We'll talk more about the tag deadline, what it means for the Colts and Daniel Jones, and a little more clarity on the running back front now that Breece Hall was tagged.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
who's ever going to solve that problem for the police department is going to need good IT skills, Gold. They're going to have to figure out how to do that. You can have your own IT career. You can solve those mysteries. And more importantly, you can work in whatever field you want, thanks to our friends over at Centric.
And learning the skills is only part of the journey. That's the thing with Centric. They're going to turn your skills into a career where people also need the support throughout the entire interview process and the resume building process. So they're going to have their career services team. They're going to coach you through the resume building, through the interview prep, and the actual guidance to land that IT job.
Russ is going to get you taken care of. Reach out to them at Centric.com and find out how this system will work for you, how the program can work for you, and how to get in that career you want. That's Centric.com.
Some flavors just take you to another place. Like the Filet-O-Fish, a crispy fish fillet made with wild-caught Alaskan pollock on melty American cheese topped with tartar sauce, all on a soft, steamed bun. It's crispy, flaky perfection. And right now, I can mix and match two favorites, like a Filet-O-Fish or 10-piece chicken McNuggets for just $6. This duo is the catch of the day. So get to McDonald's fast. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve, plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary.
Now's the time to complete that painting project you've been putting off. CertaPro Painters provides a free estimate quickly and at the right price. Whether it's interior or exterior, you'll never have to wonder what's next. They provide reliable updates because they know how important your home is to you. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. Remember, each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in Kansas City. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
As the seasons change, it's time to prep your HVAC system with a $49 seasonal tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. A tune-up can help save money on your energy bill and help prevent expensive breakdowns. As your local home service experts, everything we do is backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews adds up to dependable service from neighbors you trust. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Drew Brees here. Whether you're on the field or on the road, having the right team on your side makes all the difference. I learned that the hard way. On the field, you don't go anywhere without a solid O-line. And when your car breaks down, you want that same kind of protection. That's why I trust CarShield. Their protection plans help you tackle expensive repairs so that you're not blindsided.
Visit carshield.com now and join the team that's helped millions of drivers save. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Visit AnthonyPHC.com today.
For 75 years, Kansas City families have trusted Anthony for comfort, safety, and dependable service. Thank you for trusting us with your house keys. Anthony, in your home for 75 years.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Random question of the day coming up in about 10 minutes here on Cody and Gold. Hope you guys are having a good Tuesday. Don't forget you can watch the show as well as listen. You can watch on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, X. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. You'll get notified. Won't miss any of the shows here on 96.5 The Fan. And, of course, the J. Southland Tow Service text line always open, 913-586-7965. It is franchise tag deadline day in the league. 4 o'clock Eastern time is the deadline. The big news today is that Breece Hall had the franchise tag placed on him. So I think we can officially stop talking about Breece Hall
I agree.
in Kansas City. For just to remind everybody, New York now has the right to match any offer. And even if a team comes up with a deal for Breece Hall, the Jets, if they did not match it, the Jets would get 2 first-round picks from the team acquiring him. So it's over. Nobody's going to have 2 first-round picks and signing a brand-new deal for Breece Hall. It's done. He's going to be a New York Jet next year. The question is, does he get a long-term deal, or does he bet on himself, play it out on a franchise tag for a year? But we can stop talking about Breece Hall in Kansas City.
Yes, I agree. He sent out a tweet, Gold, that said, I've always been one to bet on myself.
Okay.
So if you're curious what his current mindset is as it relates to it, it's probably that. They have until mid-July, as you know, to work out a deal. We've seen a few of these between Chris Jones and Trey Smith work out in the past. If I'm Breece Hall, the problem with running back is I don't think you can do this the way wide receivers or quarterbacks you just have to take the biggest check. Like Kenneth Walker, too. It's running back. You got a limited time in this league. You got a limited earning potential. Whoever will give you the most money is the team that eventually you have to end up with. And right now, $15 million for the year he's going to be a Jet, that makes him like the 4th highest paid running back in the NFL. Being franchise tag, and he can thank Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey for getting that top average salary average up, because I think Saquon makes 20.5 and Christian McCaffrey makes 20 or whatever it is. Derrick Henry, 15. There's a few of those guys that make real money. He's going to make as much as those guys for playing on the 1 year. It's not a bad deal for Breece Hall. No, you're right. It means he's not here in Kansas City.
He truly is off the list.
So where are we at? Trade deadline's here. Kenneth Walker's not going to get tagged.
Walker is a free agent. He's going to be a legitimate free agent. He's going to get a lot of money, though. It's great timing for him, especially with Breece Hall not being available anymore. And so is there a chance that his dollar amount is going to make it to where the Chiefs don't play in that market? We're going to find out if you believe some of the projections that are out there. Kenneth Walker is the top available back. That's official now that Breece Hall is franchise tagged.
Yeah. And look, the problem is And this is the issue. Kenneth Walker, for what I think he's going to get on the open market, it's not worth it. The Chiefs, Kenneth Walker is not the kind of back you pay, and then he's not Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley. He's not the kind of running back you pay, and now no more problems. Don't need anyone else. They have to have a complement. Now, if the Chiefs think that Brashard Smith is that complement, okay. But one of the knocks on Kenneth Walker is his pass blocking. They certainly didn't trust Brashard Smith to do that last year. So they bring back Kareem Hunt to pass block on third down? Or do they have to go out into the market and find another free agent running back in order to do it? And so if I got to pay Kenneth Walker what I think he's going to get in the market, he's not on my list either. Him being a free agent does not make him on my list very high. I would still have Algier and Etienne and probably a few others higher than I would that, because I don't want to have to double dip unless the first contract I'm signing is cheaper.
Yeah, the rumblings,
I don't have to pay Kenneth Walker and draft one in the third.
The rumblings in New York, the Giants, that would be, is that the Giants are going to heavily pursue Kenneth Walker. So you got a brand new coaching staff, you got a quarterback on a rookie deal, so you can afford to pay Kenneth Walker maybe 14,
Pair
15.
Him with Scadaboo.
Mm-hmm. If you or the because Jeremiah Love, the Giants could potentially draft him, but could they just spend money on Kenneth Walker and have Malik Neighbors coming back and then just be really aggressive in that way? So we'll see. Breece Hall's not coming here. I kind of doubt Kenneth Walker is, although let's see where the dollar amount comes in. And so then you're right. You start getting in that water, what we already mentioned. And I know some of you want them to draft Love. That's fine. We don't have to get back into that today. But so Love, I guess, is an option. But then in free agent market, do you just sign 2 free agent backs? Do you sign a Algier with a, Rico Dowdle, or an Algier with a lower level J.K. Dobbins to go with Brashard Smith?
Or do you draft Brashard Smith and that? I mean, there's more than one way to attack it at the running back spot. We just know that now you don't have to entertain Breece Hall. They took one off the list for you. Now, Kenneth Walker, I did think was going to get tagged. I was a little surprised they put him back into the market. But in fairness, they liked Charbonnet more when the two backs were together. Charbonnet got hurt. Kenneth Walker took massive advantage of the opportunity that was in front of him, and they moved forward that direction. And so it did work out at least a little bit. The only other thing to pay attention to, I think, for the rest of the NFL is Daniel Jones. Mm-hmm. And the reason why that's interesting, less for the Chiefs, just more what happens in the NFL is, the report in Indianapolis is they'd like to work out a long-term deal with Jones. But if not, they'll franchise tag him to keep him a member of the Colts. But if they are capable of reaching a long-term deal with Daniel Jones, they are willing, according to reports, to maybe franchise tag Alec Pierce instead. Him or Jawan Jennings are going to be the highest paid wide receiver in this free agent pool. If they don't work out something with Daniel Jones, Alec Pierce is going to get paid by somebody. A lot of money. Maybe $20, $22, $23 million a year. It's going to be a lot for Alec Pierce. So, he's got to be hoping they don't work out a deal with Daniel Jones, because otherwise he'll get a massive payday and not have to take a 1-year stopgap franchise tag and then hope to repeat his success again in order to make sure he gets that payday. Because otherwise he's got to do it again, Gold. Otherwise he might not get the same check.
True. I do think Daniel Jones will be the week 1 starting quarterback. It's just whether or not, he's on a franchise tag or he has a nice 3-year extension or something like that with Daniel Jones. I think they get an extension done at some point this offseason. I don't know if they get it done in the next couple of hours. The minute they, as we said, traded for Sauce Gardner and gave up the draft picks the way they did, to me, they already committed to Daniel Jones. And I know that was before the injury, but still, they put themselves kind of
in
they
choice.
Boxed themselves in, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what choice did they have? Genuinely. After they did that, you and I agreed at the same time. They were all aboard Daniel Jones train. I guess they could go sign Kyler or here's the thing. Would you rather have, here's the question with Daniel Jones. The free agent available quarterbacks, as we see it, are going to be Tua, Kyler, Daniel Jones, Rodgers. Who else? Is there anybody else I'm forgetting about?
Smith, maybe.
Geno Smith. Who would you rather have? Contract 2. Just who's the quarterback you'd take your chance on? I think I'd answer Kyler before I answer Daniel Jones.
I think he's the better quarterback.
I don't and I'd entertain Tua. He's I'd probably I'm not saying I think I would probably settle with Daniel Jones, but I'm telling you right now, we'd have to sit in the office and actually talk about it. I wouldn't just snap answer Daniel Jones. We'd all have to sit around as a step. Over Tua.
I would take Tua. When Tua's been healthy, I think he's been better than Daniel Jones.
That's what I'm saying. We'd have to sit in an office and discuss, hey, do we think that Tua could do better than Daniel Jones? Kyler Murray would be an instant for me. Be like, I don't know. I'd just rather have Kyler. Former number 1 overall pick. shown more in his peaks.
And then they just trade Anthony Richardson.
And he's got to be younger, right? Yeah, Anthony Richardson's going to get blown out of town
for
anyway.
A 5th-round pick, 7th-round pick.
Anything anybody will give you can get him out of town. That's the thing. Like the only part about being
Do you
boxed
think
in
Anthony
is
Richardson?
you were boxed into winning now. You weren't boxed into winning now with Daniel Jones.
So I told you I'm totally out on Anthony Richardson. The minute he pulled himself out of a middle of a drive, I thought that just can't happen, and I'll never be able to view him differently.
Crazy.
But do you think he'd be an interesting backup in Kansas City?
Yes.
Here's why I say no. I want to hear your reason why in a second. My reason for no, other than I just told you I don't really
that
view,
part.
I still want the backup quarterback, especially this year, that might have to start a game or two for Mahomes. We'll see. That guy's got to be a guy that's played in won games and has a ton of experience to me still.
Yeah, the Mariota
and Anthony
types.
Richardson doesn't really fit that.
No, he's only played in less than a full season.
So that's why I'm out. But tell me why you're interested. Is it because you think they can just flip him eventually or what?
He was meant to be a project anyway, and
He's still only 23.
yeah. So in his final year as a starter, which was 2 years ago when he was 22 years old, started 11 games. That's a good sample size. Completed less than 50% of his passes, admittedly, less than 2,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. He was pretty bad. He was awful. But they also were in a spot where I don't think that they had like a developmental option to actually try to drive something. Like the arm strength's still there, the talent's still there. So unless he's just Jamarcus Russell, which he very well might be, then I still think there's like hope. For a backup, would it scare me? Sure, but I also think that
Like
Mahomes...
if Anthony Richardson, I tell you, in this hypothetical, Patrick Mahomes isn't ready week 1, and for 3 weeks, they have to have a quarterback. If Anthony Richardson was the starting quarterback week 1, 2, and 3, I would be terrified.
I guess the part of it...
Now, if he looks amazing, best case scenario, he looks amazing, then he does have value for you, and you can move him like the Jimmy Garoppolo stuff like the Patriots did. But that's asking a lot.
Or Mac Jones. I think that's part of my appeal is that I still feel like maybe there's some value to squeeze out of it.
If they actually brought Anthony Richardson in, they should bring Tyquan Thornton back, and legitimately, they would be better off running Tyquan Thornton and Xavier Worthy on streak routes literally every play and just letting Anthony Richardson chuck deep balls, then let him try to dissect the defense.
He should, at the very least, I might like him in the QB sneak
Wind
game.
up and toss that thing 80 yards and see if somebody can run it.
Quarterback for QB sneak. So
Can he be the tush push guy? I just think it's the hidden value part. And I'm not saying you have to have that all the time in a backup. You know, Peyton Manning and backup was Sorgi all those years, and
Jim Sorgi.
And until you're hurt, right? It doesn't really impact it. I think it's like a 2-game stopgap, and I'm thinking, you know what? For a build it up type of guy, I'll take it.
Is that worth taking 2 losses though? Because I would be very concerned they could win a game with Anthony Richardson.
Sure. But I'm no argument here. I'd be genuinely worried about it.
I get the intrigue. Totally get the intrigue by it.
I guess you know what? You know why
it would make for a fascinating training camp conversation for us. Trust me. So it'd be a hell of a lot more entertaining than if they just bring in Joe Flacco.
I think the issue is, and maybe this is just where I view it slightly different. I think I might be valuing more the one time Chad Henne came in and not bombed it, versus all the other times the backups came in Kansas City, these old dusty vets, and they stunk. Carson Wentz stunk, right? Gardner Minshew stunk for the 2 plays he was in, right? Like, so there's a part of it's like,
2 plays he was in.
I was just, but like, they've had more times that these old backups who do have a lot of experience didn't, because like quarterback depth's not all that good. Like, so Marcus Mariota, and the truth is,
I would rather have him for 2 games. I can win. Anthony Richardson guys might just flat out suck. And so, I'm trying to, if Mahomes has to miss a week or 2, I thought we were kind of all on the same page that they got to bring in a backup that can win you a game or 2. And Anthony Richardson does not fit that criteria.
In fairness, not this year, but last year, he was 6-5.
Yeah,
with him.
Though.
However,
but like Marcus Mariota was 2-6 last year, and he had 10 touchdowns, 7 picks. He wasn't good.
What was his Cody? What was his completion percentage?
61%.
2 years ago. So Anthony, we're not going to count last year. The year before that, Anthony Richardson. The year he went 6-5. Guess what his completion percentage was?
58.
47%.
That's crazy. But it's like, if on a talented enough team, I just think Andy
I can
Reid
pull
will
the
squeeze
career
him.
numbers though for Marcus Mariota.
Oh God, they're way better.
Yes.
Yeah, way better.
Monumentally
But I
better.
do think that there's like a Carson Wentz. Like, there's an age in which I don't think they're good anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think Marcus Mariota's good anymore. I think he stinks. And so, like, Is he the solution to like
I mean,
winning
what do you
football
consider
games?
to be good though? Because I don't think you're. I think there's
The upside is still better with Richardson.
Sure, but I'm saying from the standpoint of you having a backup quarterback who's good is very unlikely. I think because because not even every starter is considered to be good. I don't think.
I just want a backup that
has
has got experience.
I'm just saying
this year in particular because and that's usually where Andy Reid has gone anyway. But
to me, it's the same as, and I know they're all different ages, but it's like Marcus Mariota, Flacco, Russell Wilson.
I think you'd rather have Flacco.
It's just like
over Anthony Richardson.
I'm not sure any of them. Yeah, Flacco. Yeah, Flacco's been just like out here like doing work for a few years at least.
Yeah,
like he's still exercising.
He put up his career high number in a game last year.
Yeah, he's still like occasionally, and that's the problem. The last 3 years, I've watched Marcus Mariota play any football game, not enjoy it. It's not fun to watch. I don't think he's good anymore. Maybe he was never all that good, but he's certainly not good now. And so, like, I don't want another, like, Mariota, Wentz, Trubisky. I would almost rather take a chance on, like, a guy who hasn't played in a few years, who the last time I watched him play, they were decent, like Jimmy G, or a guy that I've watched recently play who was good, like Joe Flacco.
Oh, I'm not trying to sell you on Marcus Mariota. I'm just
Anthony
trying to sell you on not wanting Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think that's too hard for a lot of people.
We'll see.
How about Sam Howell, you know?
Yeah, that was the name. He's the Notre Dame guy, right? From a couple years ago.
Yeah. UNC.
And UNC. Why do I think? Who am I? Sam Hartman is who I'm thinking.
Yes. Sam Howell's actually made some starts here.
By the way, it is true though. Like at DC, honestly, when Jay Daniels got hurt, why on earth were they trying to start Marcus Mariota and not at least give Sam Hartman a chance
be honest,
last year?
That
made no sense.
I'll be honest.
They must think he's awful.
I'll be honest. They had a preseason game against the Bengals that I watched, and Sam Hartman was not very particularly good.
Why even let Gardner Minshew start the one game? You know.
Yes.
Like the second Mahomes got hurt, the season was over anyway. Just throw Oladokin's ass out there. You know.
But this depends on how everybody views 2026 because like this text from 913 says a sucky unknown quarterback with potential versus a sucky quarterback. I'm trying to win games next year still. This is not a tanking season.
If they have to
so
play,
like you need a quarterback that the potential. The Chiefs should not sign their backup because they like the potential. Patrick Mahomes is the starting quarterback the minute he's healthy. I don't care. Like the goal of signing the backup this offseason is not, we might be able to flip him for a 5th-round pick in a year. No. The goal of the backup is if he has to start a game or 2 or 5 for Mahomes, can we go 4-1? Can we go 3-2 in those 5 games? Not, it's a cool story. Let's help him out and develop him. No, that's not your goal if you're Andy Reid.
Not unless you're trying to flip him for players. You're trying to win. More than anything, that's fair. More than anything, but because it's a two-way street, Brett Veach's job is also to win. Hey, can we win with this guy? Because I'm also trying to like do some long-term stuff. I'm trying to like make some things happen. Because like I'm looking at Gardner Minshew's stats, and it's like the last 3 years he's been a starter. He's awful. He's awful. And look, I think it very well might end up being Gardner Minshew. He's certainly better than Anthony Richardson. I'm not saying
I would much rather have Gardner Minshew as my starting quarterback week 1 if it had to be that.
It ain't as big of a gap as we're trying to make it out to seem. Like Anthony Richardson is the worst quarterback who's ever started in NFL history, and Gardner Minshew's out here looking like Joe Montana. I'm saying the gapping between those guys is not maybe as great as like it would feel, even though I agree with you. Gardner Minshew, Mariota, they are better quarterbacks today than any.
And I only need Anthony Richardson today.
I know.
It is kind of wild.
For one
I
or
got the
two
whole
games
offseason to get somebody ready.
I do think Anthony Richardson is younger than Fernando Mendoza.
Is that right?
I think because if he's 20, so Anthony Richardson, I think
it's not just another day. It's today.
I think Fernando Mendoza is 24, yeah? Or is he going to turn 24? They're about the same age. Yeah. Again, Anthony Richardson should have stayed in college. That man played 17 games in college.
That was the mistake. And look, it might not help, but here's the thing. He shouldn't have stayed in college because Anthony Richardson, by coming out when he did, he got himself a nice, juicy first-round quarterback paycheck. Drew, he played more in college. He might have exposed how crappy he is.
I will say this, though. I do think there's a level of...
That's a risk. He made the right call.
There's the balance of that. It's the Dante Moore thing, right? There's a balance of that. If he would have stayed in college for 2 years, would he just be a better quarterback, though?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he would have been. At the very least, he would have been better than what he is now.
But if I could rewind it, if it's NIL, it's also different. But if I could rewind it, I'd still be a first-round pick and just say it's their fault.
Is there a level of humiliation, though, where all you have to fall back on is, well, I got more money than you?
By the way, career earnings.
I'd like to be good at what I do.
I mean, I would too, but also like there's an amount of money in which I can feel okay about being bad at what I do.
There's the $26 million is what Anthony Richardson is earning. You can tell me how crappy I am all you want if you're telling me I'm making $26 million.
That's like the rappers who stink at rapping and they're awful, but they have bands that they'll flash in your face. Like you come on, man.
You write me a check for $26 million, and I will take as many painkillers. I'll do whatever. I'll start for as many games for the Colts as I can this year.
Jeez.
I will today, right now. I will publicly embarrass myself for as long as my body can physically take, which I imagine is maybe
for
a half.
$26 million?
A half? What do you think?
No,
a quarter.
Yeah,
They're not gonna
one
let me
hit.
really
One
step
hit. You're
back.
not getting up.
Laid out.
One hit. You're done.
No route's gonna go. Miles
Garrett. Miles Garrett comes blindside. You're done.
I'm saying like they can like force me to keep playing though.
Yeah.
They can put a screw in a broken ankle at half, smelling salt, pump me full of painkillers. They can do whatever they got to do to like keep my ass on the field for the.
He's like talking Gladiator, where he's got stab wounds, yet they still throw on the armor and throw him back out there.
Someone said they want Jake Browning.
Maximus.
Someone said they want Jake Browning. First round pick. Give us number 9. We'll give you Jake Browning.
I think
that'll get. Yeah, that'll happen.
Text line mentioned the guy
Thank
who
you
I
very
actually
much.
think is the best fit. I actually think the best fit, if you let me choose anybody, is Davis Mills.
Yeah, in Houston, they shouldn't let him walk.
I don't
in
think
Houston,
he'd want to walk there either.
but-
Why would Davis Mills want to come to Kansas City?
So he can start for 4 games when Patrick Mahomes, if Patrick Mahomes misses time.
He's better. He might actually be able to start more next year or get the job after next year.
Well, I'm not going to give Davis Mills the job. Let's draft someone else. Will they?
All right, let's get to the random question.
Random question.
Random question today brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. We don't have a lot of time for the random question today, but follow us on YouTube and Twitch or Twitter or Facebook where we live stream the show. My question for you is, would this work for you? Obviously, over at Talking Baseball, there's several reports across baseball right now saying the Cardinals are introducing a ticket package starting at $29 a pop that includes bottomless soda, hot dogs, chicken tenders, bratwurst, nachos, fries, popcorn, peanuts, chips, and ice cream.
Amazing.
The question is, would this get you to buy let's say it's a half season ticket package? Would this convince you to buy a half season ticket package, a full season ticket package? But it's got to be, let's say in this hypothetical, it's got to be at least half a season. But for $29 a game, you will get unlimited soda, hot dogs, chicken tenders, and a bunch of other stuff. Would this work on you?
One, it's a great idea by the Cardinals. I think it's smart.
They've had attendance issues the last couple of years.
The issue with the question, I would say, is I would answer it no, because you're asking a half season. That's still way too many games for most people to go to, and it doesn't include parking and all that. So I will, from a financial end and actually using it, I'll go ahead and say no. If it's just one-off games, I get that package, absolutely. But if I still got I'm not going to 40 games.
If you guarantee,
but do you get your value out of selling 20, going to 20, and every time you go,
I bet you
soda, hot dogs, chicken tenders, bratwurst, all of it.
Yeah.
If I was required, like if you took the season ticket part out of it, and just every time I went, would I be more likely to go to more Royals games if they did this sort of deal? Absolutely.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The season ticket package is
I don't know if
a wrinkle.
but if you try to convince people to come out to the K more often, if this was included, if this was a deal, then I think
they
absolutely.
have some tickets like that, don't they?
Well, they have the
all-you-can-eat.
Well, they have the Lexus Complete or whatever it's called, and I've actually sat on those before. But those are like $90.
But if you had something like this for $29, I can go and get 2 sodas and 2 hot dogs, and that right there. If you got two souvenir cups of soda and 2 hot dogs, you've already covered your ticket cost.
Yeah, he's right. There is something at Kaufman called the Lexus Complete.
I sat on it last year, but they're not. I can tell you this: they're not $29.
Is it a fancier section?
It's in the club level, but it's all the way down towards the end. It's hot dogs, nachos, popcorns, cookie, fountain drink, and a water.
So they're not even offering as much as the Cardinals.
Is it bottomless or is it not bottomless?
It's bottomless.
Of those,
okay.
But like for example, on
$100 a ticket, it says.
Depending on the day, they do the dynamic pricing, I think. But yeah, it's $90 on one of the nights, so it's not anywhere close to this deal.
You would make up your ticket. You would make up the ticket cost.
For $29
immediately.
It
would happen.
But they're banking on, and I guess this is the part that always matters. For the same reason, like the Royals came to my kid's school, right, and did like oh look, we trained him and we gave you a sticker that says the Royals on it. You're trying to build a fan base. The problem with the Cardinals have right now, and the Royals to a degree as well, is the attendance has gone down in baseball in some areas. The Cardinals specifically, they're trying to drag people in. They're also trying to encourage you to buy a season ticket package. What if it was 40 games? What's the minimum number of games you would purchase where you're like, you know what? $29 a ticket, I'll make it work.
For the drive that
I think the issue is a majority of people with family and life and everything.
It'd be like $600 or something.
Going to 10 games is a lot for people. You just don't. Majority of people don't go to 20 baseball games a year. That's a very large number.
From the 816, somebody says Royals have something like that in center field. So just bought some for their company, $72 a piece. But
Still.
I mean, again, you're right. If it was available at any time, those and like
the parking part, we're underestimating the parking part. This is why, like the Royals, it's great. They do the what is it? They for $249 or whatever they do.
Fountain Pass.
Fountain Pass. It's and it's great. It is a great deal, but
if you just want to go to a baseball game,
you still got to pay for parking. So there's and how now you can do the math on how many times you would have to go to make it pay for itself and all that, and it still ends up being a great value. But if you're just asking the question like how many games, I would
and they
love
have those value concession stands, don't they? The Royals?
Yeah, I would love to know, and they have the data. The Royals do. It's not public, but I would love to know the data of the people that have bought the Fountain Pass for every game. How many games do they on average go to?
2. I don't know. I
mean, it's more than that. If you bought the Fountain Pass, you're going more than 2 games. But is it 8 games?
10?
Is it 30?
Yeah, I mean, again, you're paying once a month. And look, the value menu, I remember the Royals do that in those little corners. But it's only a couple of sections. So, like, you could buy the Fountain Pass, Drew, for less than $29 a game, and then just make sure that you go to the $5 section where they sell you pretzels and peanuts and all that stuff for $5.
So this is the add-on, correct? This is not the actual ticket price.
$29. The Cardinals is a bottomless concession ticket starting at $29, including the price. You get a seat in Big Mac, and you get a seat in Big Mac Land, which if anybody's been there, it's a left field.
You remember during the McGuire time,
and a wristband that allows them to return to the unlimited concession stand.
That section,
so it's a seat. Yeah.
That section is going to be if we were to turn on a Cardinals game, that section, look, lower level might be kind of close to empty, but that upper left field section is going to be packed.
To your point, Drew, it's like if you did 20 games at $29 a piece, it would be $580. But you got to park for $25, $30
this
a
is
pop,
where
right?
this is where
it doubles your price.
I'm not a huge fan of St. Louis, certainly not the Cardinals, but I will say this is where they do have the ability for some downtown transportation there and a downtown ballpark. You don't have to park your car down there.
No, you could just, or in Kansas City's case, maybe they put the stadium somewhere that the streetcar reaches.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to pay $30 to park. Maybe you can pay $10 to park somewhere down the streetcar line, or $5 to, maybe you can take a cheaper Uber. It's lots of different choices.
Someone says the greatest fans in baseball need ticket deals. That's right. That's what they told us all those years there in St. Louis.
I didn't have a leg to stand on because I couldn't prove it the other way until now. I forever argued with Cardinals fans that the only reason you guys are great at attending baseball games and having a great fan base is because you win.
Your team was good for 20 years.
Your team matters. You were good for 20 straight years. And I said, you know what? Live a day in my shoes as an early 2000s Royals fan and see how that goes.
All right, coming up next, let's talk more about 2 names that reportedly could get traded in the NFL by the end of the week, and a report around one of the top NFL draft prospects. Is it just fluff at this point, or is there real concern?
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Trying to feel better about yourself, trying to feel better with energy, trying to feel better in life? At Synergen X and Low T Center. All their providers are board-certified experts in their field, not random chatbots. Providers you will see. They know the right questions to ask, and they individualize testosterone treatment for you. Individualized TRT treatment for smooth and easy transition into the program. They get each patient feeling better about them, helping them reach their goals. Look, maybe it's that your sex life has stalled out. Again, maybe it's that the workouts haven't been the same. All these things can be a sign of low T. And over at Synergen X and Low T Center, they can work with most insurance companies and help you customize a personalized dose of TRT for maximum effectiveness. So if you've been looking to make a change and you're not quite feeling the same, go to Synergen X or Low T Center and solve that problem. That's Synergen X or LowTCenter.com and book today.
Is your garage door too loud and whining for help? Overhead Door Company of Kansas City will make it all better. They will perform their full 26-task garage door tune-up for just $79. That's just $79 for up to 3 garage doors and openers. You need this done once a year, so why not now? And for just $79. Call Overhead Door Company of Kansas City at 816-221-0072 or schedule online at overheaddoorkc.com.
Presenting Again Fling's love story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
My car smells fresh, so fresh, always so fresh every day. My car smells fresh, so fresh, like I cleaned it yesterday. Got that Febreze car on the vents, living life with that just clean freshness. Febreze car, if you know, you know, up to 40 days a scent on low. My car smells fresh, so fresh, always so fresh every day. My car smells fresh, so fresh, like I cleaned it yesterday. That's right, breathe happy Febreze, la 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 la.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve, plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary.
The Drive is presented by FanDuel. Basketball fans, it's almost time for the Super Trade Day sweepstakes. FanDuel is all about those three-pointer moments. And on March 3rd, that's 3-3, you'll have your own shot at a big win from downtown. Place a three-point wager, and you'll be entered to win a share of over $3.3 million in bonus bets. All you need to do to take advantage of this promotion is to download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's the #1 sportsbook app. Go use the promo code LOCAL, FanDuel.com/local, to claim your profit boost to enter. Don't miss out on the Super Trade Day sweepstakes today only on FanDuel. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. No purchase necessary. Option required. Limit 1 per entry. Profit boost issued as non-withdrawable profit boost token. Prizes issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which is priced 7 days. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration of max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, I'm Lacey, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. And yes, I'm actually a jeweler. I bring dream engagement rings to life every day in our jeweler workshop. When I hand set your diamond into your ring, I think about creating a piece you'll wear for a lifetime. I pay attention to the smallest details and treat every ring with the same care and craftsmanship, no matter the size or price. Come see us in store. Shane Company engagement rings are crafted with care from our hands to yours. Because a friend wants your ring to be nothing short of perfect. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
You can swirl it, you can sip it, but the best way is to share it. Hey y'all, I'm Deanna, a team member at my local Chick-fil-A. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and new frosted sodas and floats is how well they go together. You get that bold flavor of the Coke mixed with the smooth deliciousness of the vanilla ice cream. You have a juicy filet and a smooth, creamy float. It's an awesome pairing.
Order a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and a new frosted soda and float at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant. Real team member paid for their testimonial.
This is the story of the one.
As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Listen between 2 and 6 on Monday, March 9th and Tuesday, March 10th for your chance to qualify for the Drive's Papa Shot Tournament. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
Got a really like 80s, 90s
1 o'clock hour
sitcom vibe.
You want to take a guess at what this
feels like I'm getting ready to come back from like
YouTube?
This feels like a transition video. They're heading to the mall in like Martin or something. No, what is it?
Michael Jackson or in New Jack Swing 80s type beat.
Okay. I like it.
Title one you want, actually. They give it a name.
Okay. No, I mean, I'm with
it does feel like a sitcom type of vibe. Like it's either bounce back from commercial or you're in the mall like shopping and it's a transition to a scene. Yeah, for sure.
Specifically like a 90s sitcom.
A Fresh Prince. Will Smith is going to do
like
something.
If they were getting ready to do that and then they like transition to him like working in the like college, high school bookstore, they'd be like, yeah, that tracks. That feels exactly right. I don't know why.
1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tabb, Drew Nixon with you. We know it's franchise tag deadline day. That's in 3 hours from now. The deadline Eastern time at 4 Eastern. So there's a couple trades though that we could see happen this week, and I think it could shake up the AFC for sure and how we view a couple of these potential contenders. So Albert Breer is reporting that Max Crosby could get traded this week. Adam Schefter is also saying A.J. Brown could get traded this week. I think at least one of them is getting traded this offseason. This week, I don't know about the timeline and everything, but if it happens this week, it's fascinating because the potential teams for Max Crosby, according to Albert Breer, are the Cowboys, the Bears, the Ravens, the Bills, the Patriots, the Eagles, and the Rams. And you and I both agreed earlier when we talked about this. I was like, there's one team that just stands out, and you and I did not run it by each other before. And I was like, the Bills. The Bills stand out because we know for both players, Cody, for A.J. Brown, the Bills need a wide receiver to give Josh Allen a legit receiver. The Bills also have tried desperately to have a dominant pass rusher on the defense, and they've gone with the veteran Bosa and Von Miller over the years. Max Crosby would be the best defensive player they've had in a very long time.
The only problem, and I guess this is a warning for the Bills, even though Max Crosby is a lot better than those guys. You can do this again? You sure you don't want to just draft and develop and actually find your guy? Because they've tried the he's a veteran, we'll make it work department. I want to point out that Max Crosby's not 30 yet, but he's starting to barrel towards that, and he has started to experience health problems. 2 years ago, he missed a chunk of games. Last year, he was healthy, but like every week was in question whether or not he was going to be available. And the thing about Max Crosby is that he's not he's not like he's a great pass rusher. But we talk about him like he's the kind of guy who gets like 15 sacks a season, and he's not. He is he consistently gets double-digit sacks.
Yeah, he wrecks games though.
Because
he's an attention.
He's an attention getter.
Yeah.
But like the Bills make sense only because they've been in search of this for a long time. They tried it with Bosa. They tried it with Von Miller. They spent a first-round pick in Rousseau. That similar to the way the Chiefs have been trying at left tackle for like 5 straight years. That's what the Bills have been trying to do. They think that the key to unlock their defense is one pass rusher who can wreck the game. But the problem is wide receiver might be a bigger priority for them the way we're talking about with Kansas City.
Yeah,
they both might need to prioritize pass catcher.
Both Brown and Crosby are fits for the Patriots and for the Bills. And I hope he ends up going to the NFC, and both of them go to the NFC. The Rams, if they just want to go all in again and F those picks like they used to say, they could say, Stafford, we got you for one more year. Let's go just get you a dominant defensive player to go already with a pretty damn good defense and Fisk and Verse. And they got the offense set with Puka, Devontae to go with the MVP quarterback. Maybe they just say, screw it. We're going to mortgage the future again. We don't care.
I mean, look, if you got Josh Allen, I'm telling you right now, sell your soul for a Super Bowl championship. The franchise doesn't have one. You went to 4 straight. The franchise itself has zero. You sell your soul. Honestly, I'd be saying the same thing if this was like inverse and Allen won all those rings and Mahomes looked like the best or second best quarterback in the league and I didn't have one yet. I sell your soul for a championship. And Max Crosby trading out your first round pick or whatever, it's probably doing that.
Yeah.
But the problem is, and this is what we talked about with the Bills. I don't think the Bills, I don't think it's like the same as the Chiefs, but they're in a similar range of, is this the roster? Like right now, is this the Bills roster to sell your soul for? Because I don't think it is. The defense isn't as good as it was the years before. You still don't have any weapons for Josh Allen. First-time head coach. I'm not sure that this is the sell yourself moment, right? I think you might need to wait 2 years to sell your soul in order to get the championship. The problem is, what is Josh Allen by then, right? They're trying to thread a very particular needle, and this is the advantage the Chiefs have, man. When you got one in the bag, nothing has to be immediate if you don't want it to be. Like I just saw Albert Breer, same reporter, said he thinks Kenneth Walker could have interest from the Chiefs. Not surprising.
Yep.
But also from the Broncos and I can't remember, one other team. And he said that Kenneth Walker is expected to get, he thinks, between $12 and $16 million a year. I'm like, it's $16 million a year. I'm not that thirsty for a running back for Mahomes. I mean, I want one, but I don't want one for $16 million a year. Seahawks was the other one. Makes sense.
Sure.
Kenneth Walker's a free agent.
Yeah, the Cowboys being mentioned for Crosby is just hilarious because we all know they traded away Micah Parsons last year. And then now they're going to trade for a defensive end who's awesome, but it was older than Micah Parsons. I don't get it.
The Cowboys fooled us because for a while there, Dak Prescott, who you and I both are higher on than apparently most people who watch the NFL. I think Dak Prescott covered the fact this is not a good team. As in, like, not a well-run organization. And because they're not a well-run organization, I shouldn't rule it out, Gold. That sounds like something a stupid organization would do. And I got to be honest, the Cowboys are a poorly run team. They won 12 games 3 years in a row because McCarthy and Dak Prescott had them rolling a little bit.
Yeah, you know what, though?
But they haven't made it.
Things can turn into good decisions.
Sometimes that can happen.
They haven't made an NFC title game. Almost every single team in the NFL has made a conference title game the last time they made one. You know, like the Jets, a team we openly mock, has made a conference title game more recently than the Dallas Cowboys.
You have got to be smoking something over there this morning.
So I just really think that at that point, I wouldn't rule it out. It'd be pretty hilarious for them to trade Micah Parsons for picks, use those picks to just bring in Max Crosby, who's an older, slightly less productive Micah Parsons.
You think
right?
I'm an idiot? Do you?
I love that. That one might be my favorite.
We have so many drops. We haven't used them in a while, actually.
So here, just so you know,
Jerry Jones.
5 years, Micah Parsons.
They really do.
He's only 26 years old through last year, so he'll be 27 this year. Through 5 years, Gold, Micah Parsons was a first-team All-Pro 3 times. His sack numbers were 13, 13.5, 14, 12, and 12.5, which is insane, as you can imagine. Max Crosby's been a very good player. No argument. 10, 7, 8, 12.5, 14.5, 7.5, 10. So he's coming off of the 4 best years of his career. Those 4 years do not equal the 4 years that Micah Parsons just put on paper. Still less sacks.
So what's your guys'
less
prediction?
pressures.
A.J. Brown, Max Crosby. Give me a team.
A.J. Brown, the New England Patriots.
Okay.
It just makes too much sense. Played with Vrabel in Tennessee. Once out, they desperately need a wide receiver. I think A.J. Brown is a Patriot. I think they both lead, by the way. I think Max Crosby ends up being a, God, I hate this. I mean, it's probably, truth is, probably is Bill, but I don't think they can.
I'm going to go A.J. Brown.
Eagles. They take that money and he goes back. Is that what you were going to say? Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Weird.
I was going to think Eagles, just they're more likely to pull off the trade. What makes, to me, I'll tell you this, what makes the most sense to me, A.J. Brown, Patriots, Max Crosby, Rams, and they just go all in and say, screw it.
I got to say, we just mentioned the all-in factor. For the Rams, shouldn't they be at the top?
That's what I'm saying, yeah. No, Matthew Stafford, Hall of Famer, are going to be a Hall of Famer final year, one MVP. I think they can be all in. Brandon Beane, is he facing a ton of pressure from fans? Does that mean he's going to be more aggressive or not?
Brandon Beane.
That lady in particular. I mean,
she's not messing around.
Brandon Beane.
What's your prediction, Drew? What do you think? Crosby to the Cowboys is the text line's pick.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
I would say A.J. Brown to the Patriots as well. Man, Crosby, Chicago? Maybe? Somebody in the text line actually just texted that in as well.
Smiles and glory holes.
I think my favorite one is when didn't Jerry Jones call Michael Parsons when he called him Michael Parson? That one's great.
When he's actively on their
didn't he call him
team?
a little rascal? Isn't that what he called
well,
him?
he gave the whole example. Yeah.
How many times have you seen the little rascal so clever?
That's my favorite one.
I do want to mention, like, we're talking about running back, wide receiver, all these needs for the Chiefs, and pick number 9, and Matt McMullen was on the show earlier today. And you can always catch that over at 965thefan.com. But so we were talking about, like, all the different possibilities at 9. Are you guys at all wondering about this Caleb Downs injury thing? They're comparing it to the Will Johnson corner injury from a year or two ago and calling it, they're not talking about his knee going to explode like Juju Smith-Schuster, but they are certainly making it seem like Caleb Downs might have a torn MCL and might have risk of future ACL-related injuries.
Degenerative ACL.
Yeah,
problem.
which is their way of saying, hey, man, this thing could probably pop at any moment. I might push him down draft boards a little bit. He is a safety. Safeties don't go in the top 10 very often. We pointed that out before.
I don't know if he's going to fall, but I'll say what I've said multiple times with the injury stuff of guys coming out of the draft. And this does not, let me be clear, this does not mean that the player will never have an injury in the NFL.
This is your way of saying the Chiefs are better at it than
I
most.
trust the Chiefs medical staff in their draft evaluation. Josh Simmons may have missed games last year. One, because of a personal reason. The other, because he ended up having an arm injury. The reason the medicals were discussed with Josh Simmons last year had nothing to do with would he ever get hurt in his life. It was, is the patellar tendon a problem and is he available? The Chiefs trusted their staff. They were correct. Like, even with the injury last year for Josh Simmons, they were 100% correct with their evaluation on his knee. So if
and with Trey Smith's heart condition or whatever.
Correct. And so I actually believe, say what you will about the Chiefs and their drafting or their injury openness, transparency in the season. But when it comes to evaluating players in the draft based on injury, if they take Caleb Downs, I will have plenty of faith that they said, look, the knee, we're not worried about it. So that's where I'm at. So to answer your question, as it pertains to the Chiefs with Caleb Downs,
if they say it's okay,
I won't be worried about Caleb Downs' knee if they draft him because I actually do think the Chiefs have earned that aspect of it. It doesn't guarantee the player will never get hurt, but in terms of the big picture availability right away and all that, yeah, I'm not worried about it.
I do think that there's some teams though that's going to push him down the board a little bit. Like the last safety to go in the first round was Jamal Adams. It's just, again, it's not super common. So if you're already playing a position and he didn't run, right? He didn't do anything at the combine.
Just interviewed,
now,
right?
Turns out he might have had a knee issue, so that's not surprising.
Apparently, a lot of players are just doing interviews and medicals now anyway.
So that whole thing around Caleb Downs is interesting. So Pat McAfee said they reached out to a bunch of GMs and they said there is nothing with Caleb Downs that would prevent them from picking him in the first round at all. So I don't know if that's either they did,
somebody leaked it on purpose.
That or based on the medical, I don't know if that actually
maybe because they're trying to get him lower.
Yeah, who knows? But it sounds like based on what Pat McAfee said that they reached out to a bunch of executives or GMs and they said there's nothing that would prohibit them from picking him in the first round.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to slide down to.
I don't think he would leave the first. Even
I don't
if
think he's
it was-
going to be. I don't think he's available to the Chiefs at 40 now.
Yeah, if it was a real thing, I don't think he'd leave the first round.
But if they're comparing it to Will Johnson, they're comparing to Will Johnson for a reason. Will Johnson going into that draft, and I remember talking because we talked draft a lot because the Chiefs and everything else. Will Johnson was being talked about like he was going to be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft that season. People were surprised. Oh, no. He's still there at 9, 10, 11, 12. How far down will Will Johnson go? Well, it turns out that knee stuff pushed him down into the late teens. So, like, I guess all I'm saying is come April 23rd or whatever the first round of the draft is, don't be surprised if Caleb Downs is available at 15. It might not be. Someone might still take the chance and maybe the knee checks out for someone different than it did for Will Johnson. But if there are teams that are worried, he might be available at 15, 16, 17.
Which is where I would be totally comfortable if I was the Chiefs, if I was anybody who's interested.
I just think it's, again,
if he's the guy, I would be interested. I'd be willing to trade down and just pick him at, like if I'm the Cardinals and I wanted to take him at 3, but all of a sudden this comes up, I know that obviously they want the best player available, but let's say they're sold on Downs. You trade back to 10 or you trade back to 11 with whoever. You trade back with somebody and then you end up just taking him there.
It's hard to say without obviously knowing for sure what the issue is, if there's really an issue. I'll just say again, if you're any of those teams, if your medical staff checks out and says, yeah, there's nothing to be worried about, then you still draft the player.
And in fairness, it's like Gold, you always mentioned the ones that they got right. They're good on the ones that like are an injury problem too. Like they looked at L'Jarius Steen, they're like, oh, that ain't gonna happen. So
we're trading him.
Yeah, he gone. Like he's still a good player, and you're like,
that ended up working out well because he hasn't been.
Yeah, and they were like,
been injured,
not for long. Yeah, they correctly, but that was the report. Yeah. The report was they were worried about his health. They didn't want to give him a long-term extension because of the health, and they found a team that would give him a long-term extension.
To risk it, yeah.
And he's been hurt the whole time. They correctly identified legit. So, like to Gold's point, if the Raiders take him, maybe you're not the Raiders. Whoever's taking let's
Cardinals
just
at
say
3.
That's
we'll say the Commanders at wherever.
Bengals at 10, whatever.
Bengals at 10.
I don't have to just blindly assume that Caleb's down knee's okay. But if the Chiefs take him at 9, I can have a little more
you trust
thought.
the medical staff based on the history that they have.
Yeah, I believe their ability to evaluate a player better than I trust most other teams' ability. Due to recent track record, as Gold's pointed out, they've done a better job evaluating that than a lot of other teams. So I won't do that. I want to go back just a minute. You were mentioning the Rams as an all-in team.
Mm-hmm.
Les Snead was talking. People were talking about that he's reportedly in an interview said open to trading a first rounder for a proven player. And then is there an all-pro that we can add? And then trade talks intensify. They don't even have a quarterback after Stafford. So like what are you stashing for? Like if you're Snead, you're done when Stafford's done anyway. Like you're not done, but like it's going to take a minute to be the Rams again, to be a feared, difficult team to face. And seeing how that worked, I wouldn't be surprised if they went after another veteran after Stafford's gone.
Yeah, it's interesting. I saw Todd McShay was on with Rich Eisen yesterday, and he said he doesn't think that there's as much of a gap between Fernando Mendoza and Ty Simpson as what people think. That doesn't mean that Fernando's not better right now, but in terms of the quarterback ability, I think he mentioned some of it was up until he said, I think at some point teams were figuring out their protections and stuff at Alabama, and that's why Ty Simpson was getting hit all the time late in the season against Alabama. Up until before then, I think Gold, you even said that you thought he might even be in the running for the Heisman because of how good
he had the third best odds.
He was playing from an accuracy standpoint. If you take that and you pair him up with Puka or those guys, like, is that actually something at 13 they feel like he sits behind Stafford and learns a little bit more? He doesn't have as much college experience, so there's less wear and tear on the body. I mean, I think that's where it'd be interesting. If they think Ty Simpson could be the successor, do they trade 29 in a future for Crosby and keep the 13 to take Ty Simpson?
Or, since they're looking to add all pros to the roster and have a noted secondary issue, Trent McDuffie to the Rams? Like, that makes if they're just looking to add a
29,
if they're willing to trade a first-round pick for a proven player and want an all-pro, ding, 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 that's Trent McDuffie. I mean, I don't like, it's
if
not even like, I don't even
have one first-round pick, would you be cool with 29?
If it's 13.
If they offered you,
if it's 29, I got to get other picks.
Okay.
I got to get other picks.
If it's 13, yeah, I think so.
I think they'd be.
Yeah, 13 gets it done. 29, I need something else. Is how I think for it to be a fair compensation. I was just going to say on the quarterback front for the Rams, you're right about what they don't have after Stafford. Well, you guys were talking about the backup stuff for the Chiefs. Like, that's a team that actually should take the flyer on trading for a 6th-round pick for Anthony Richardson and just let him develop for a year behind Stafford. They're not asking Richardson to play week 1. Again, the reason why I don't want Richardson in Kansas City as a backup, he might have to play week 1. If you're the Rams, you might need a quarterback in 2028 anyway.
I think with the upcoming class, I would pass on Anthony Richardson. I believe there's so many good quarterbacks next year. I'll be able to get one of them.
But there's no risk. It's just like if he's on the street.
Sure. Yeah, because the Rams are going to be probably one of the 5 or 6 best teams in football. So next year they're picking 28th, let's say. The Rams are at least. You're not getting Arch or Dante Moore or any of those guys where you're at.
But anybody, I mean, I wouldn't say Anthony Richardson in terms of. Like,
I'm just saying for him to sit for a year and you find out if he sucks, you move on from then. You know for sure you got to go find another quarterback. I just think you take that's an organization that could take a flyer on Richardson, and it doesn't really do anything.
Bennett, it'll be all right.
They just run him out.
Stetson Bennett, man, oh man, that was Bink's guy. That was Bink's guy.
Dare I say,
trouble?
He had some mental health problems. Stepped away from the game. Yeah.
Dare I say, I might rather have Stetson Bennett than Anthony Richardson, based on what we've seen from Anthony Richardson.
That's the
I know that might sound crazy
because you've never seen the other person fail. I mean, it happens all the time. I don't think that's an uncommon feeling. Stetson Bennett's never thrown an NFL pass. He's never disappointed.
I'm just saying, Anthony Richardson, he had a 47 percent complete.
Drew, I just got a general rule of thumb.
That is an automatic no for me. It doesn't matter.
But Drew, come on.
47% completion percentage.
Let's not get carried away here. Stetson Bennett, by the time, like 5 weeks into the season, will be 29 years old. The man will be almost 30 and have never even thrown an NFL pass. We don't have to be crazy. At least I'd have 6 more years. Drew, I could take 6 years developing Anthony Richardson. The only thing we do is try to make Anthony Richardson good. Better than Stetson. I'd have 6 full years to make him better than Stetson Bennett.
If you put them out on a field right like today, who's the better quarterback?
I genuinely have no idea. I don't know. I've never seen Stetson Bennett throw. I guess I saw him throw in college. I didn't think he was all that good in college, so he was like a 6th round pick, wasn't he?
4th rounder.
So he was that high?
Yeah.
Oh, I apologize.
That was Pink Sky.
He did love some Stetson Bennett.
That man's a winner.
That's right.
Is he a national champ?
2 natties.
Yeah.
Oh, nice run.
Somebody mentioned Jalen Milroe. The Seahawks have him. I don't think they'd ever give him up to the Rams. No way.
Why? In division? No way. Yeah. I'm with you.
Drew Rosen before AR-15? Man, that's tough, too.
Is this a bad time to mention Rich Gannon, like in-division stuff?
Gerback.
Is this a bad time to mention when Rich Gannon went to a division opponent?
Hey, somebody mentioned Jameis. I will say this. I know they said the next backup in Casey, but if we pass that along, let's say the Rams bring him in. Him with Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua and whoever else they want to bring in, Jameis might throw for 5,000 yards again.
He'd be fun.
Kyron Williams?
But by then he's going to be like...
That's a year. That's the issue with the
I understand.
thing. I'm just saying... The Rams could bring in Richardson as a backup because they don't need to play him at all for a year anyway.
Yeah, and just let him see and just see what happens.
And see where he's at.
Yeah. Gold saying he can just sit on a bench for an entire
Can the
year
Colts get anything? Like, realistically, is anybody willing to give up even a 7th round pick for Anthony Richardson?
I don't
conditional
even know
conditional 6, yeah.
The Chiefs gave up a 6th round pick for Peyton Hendershot. I'm pretty sure that there's somebody out there willing to give up a 7th.
For a quarterback. For a guy that was a 1st round pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably get a 6th rounder, conditional 5th if he hit a certain benchmark.
That's not even a made up trade. Do you remember the Peyton Hendershot
I do.
era?
And then I remember when he shoved someone on the sideline and got fined.
Yeah, he did. That was probably his entire paycheck from the Chiefs. It's fine.
All right, up next, we'll get to what's trending. We'll keep an eye on a couple of the other rumblings that are out there in the NFL world. We'll also talk more about Missouri Tigers, who have a game tonight against Oklahoma next.
You're listening to Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Tune in for the Fan Club every Friday at 1, right here on 96.5 The Fan.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at Heartland Men's Health, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at Heartland Men's Health. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Discover a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026.
Over time, your home's exterior takes a beating. You might notice faded colors or peeling paint. You need to call my friends at CertaPro Painters, whether you're thinking about the inside or outside of your home. Their free estimates are detailed and easy to understand, and you'll get a quote right away. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. And remember, each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in KC. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Missouri, get ready. Circus Sports is giving you the chance to win owner Derek Stevens' wallet. From February 3rd to March 15th, you can take home your share of $250,000 in cash. Simply wager $100 and earn one share, wager $1,000 to earn two shares, wager $5,000 for a third share. Bet on anything from pro sports to college, straight bets to futures. Don't miss your chance to cash in and take home your share of Derek's wallet. Visit circusports.com for details. Must be 21 and older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
If you need a new appliance, this is your sign. Shop at Lowe's now to get up to 35% off and next-day delivery on hundreds of major appliances. A new appliance now means an easier to-do list later. Our best lineup is at Lowe's. Valid through 3/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Order by 4 p.m. Available Monday through Saturday. Subject to availability. Fees, exclusions, and restrictions apply. See Lowes.com/appliance delivery for more details.
That's the sound of James adding long-lasting Gain scent boosters to his laundry this morning. Several hours later, James sniffs the irresistible scent of Gain on his shirt. Gain. Several hours later, James has even caught the attention of his mother-in-law, and she never gives him attention.
Ooh, you smell amazing, James.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I love you too.
I never said that.
Add Gain scent boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your day.
A KFC tale in the pursuit of flavor. The greatest insult the Colonel ever suffered was being served a wrap that was just a snack by a friend. So he took 2 crispy tenders, lettuce, tomatoes, and pepper mayo, and wrapped them in a soft tortilla. It wasn't a snack, it was a meal. He called it a twister, and never called that friend again. The Colonel lived, so we could chicken. The Twister, now back at KFC, classic or with bacon. Also try it spicy. It's finger-licking good.
Prices and participation may vary. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti.
Number one on what's trending, it is the franchise tag deadline day. We've been saying that throughout the show, 4 o'clock Eastern time, and we have a franchise tag on Breece Hall. The New York Jets deciding to do that. We can stop talking about Breece Hall coming to Kansas City. That's because, again, for a team to pull off a trade for Breece Hall now, here's what it would take. They have to get a deal done with Breece Hall, so give him big-time money, and then the Jets would have to say, we're not matching, and then if that happened, you'd have to give the Jets 2 first-round picks. It's over. He's going to be a Jet next year.
Yep, that's a lock. Next up on what's trending, MU at Oklahoma tonight, Kansas at Arizona State tonight, and Kansas State will be hosting West Virginia. If Kansas State loses and Utah wins, they'll be in last in the Big 12. If MU beats Oklahoma, just a regular win, doesn't change much for the standings, but does help, and we'll talk about this, secure MU's standing in the NCAA tournament. Kansas can lock in a double bye in the Big 12 tournament, meaning they wouldn't have to play until Thursday if they beat Arizona State tonight. Arizona doing them a favor against Iowa State last night.
Baseball didn't surprise Arizona for the Royals. They are taking on Cuba today as all these countries get set for the World Baseball Classic. So it'll be Burgard on the mound today as the Royals take on Cuba. Remember, the Royals have 14 players in the World Baseball Classic. Bobby Wood Jr. leading off for Team USA at shortstop today as they have an exhibition game. Doesn't all really get going until Friday for the most part.
Yeah, that'll be over, I think, on ESPN. They take on the Cubs. No, Italy takes on the Cubs. I can't remember who the U.S. faces.
Cuba.
Oh, Cuba.
Yeah.
Sorry, as you mentioned a second ago. Next up on What's Trending, the NFL announces the Falcons will host a game in Madrid this season as a part of their continued large international series. We now know all the home teams for the international games. The reason why this one's of note is it is the only game of all the teams who've been announced on the entire international slate, because they've announced pretty much all the home teams, that the Chiefs actually face in a road match. So this is the only game that the Chiefs could potentially play overseas this year, would be the Falcons in Madrid. So we'll probably find out. Normally it's about a week or two after they announce all the slow unveil of the home teams for these games. You'll find out whether the Chiefs are the team playing in Madrid with them. I think it's probably like a 50-50 chance. I think it's a decent shot. The Chiefs are the team against the Falcons there.
Lastly on What's Trending, we are less than 100 days now away from the start of the FIFA World Cup. 99 days, 10 hours, 23 minutes. To be exact.
Counting,
Yeah, who's counting? We know in Kansas City, we've got to wait a little bit longer than that, as June 16th will be the first group stage match. That's Argentina and Algeria. Likely Messi playing in that one. Ecuador, Curacao on the 20th. The 25th will be Tunisia, Netherlands. And then the last group stage match is Algeria and Austria before the round of 32 on July 3rd and the quarterfinal on July 11th. It was cool. I landed at the airport on Sunday night, and anybody that's been to the airport recently knows they have a really nice display, I guess is the best way to describe it, there with the countdown right there as well, with the FIFA Kansas World Cup logo and everything.
Yeah, it is very cool. I'm excited for the World Cup in Kansas City. I'm going to miss the first 10 days, but I'll be here for the rest of it. I got to go to Texas.
To figure out, I got time to. I got to figure. I should come. I got to figure out who I want to have filling in when you're gone for the first week. I feel like obviously we have. I want it's soccer. So I don't. We're gonna be talking more soccer that week than normal. So I gotta.
Sure, at least for one of those days.
I have to work on that and see if
How
we
does
have a
Nick feel about
combination.
football of a different kind?
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm getting at.
Football. It's still football.
Yeah.
Just different.
Have to figure that out. Well, I haven't really thought about that. I got a couple months. I got 99 days to figure it out. So.
I think you'll be okay somehow.
Yeah.
We'll make do.
Yeah.
That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold.
Missouri Tigers, you mentioned it. They get Oklahoma tonight, and they are expected to win, and I certainly think they will. And a win tonight against OU, to me, locks them into an NCAA tournament berth. Because all they have left after that is Arkansas, and if you lose that, that's not going to hurt you. And then you have an SEC tournament, not going to hurt you. So you avoid a bad loss tonight, and to me, you're in. If you win and you find a way to upset Arkansas or win a game or two in the SEC tournament, then you can guarantee you're not in the first four. I just think tonight guarantees that they're in. And that they're not on the wrong side of the bubble. But I still think you're trying to still get in that 9 or 10 seed spot if you're Mizzou.
Oklahoma's it's like the safety game. I think they're in no matter what. I think they could lose their next 3 games and it wouldn't matter. I think they could lose to Oklahoma, Arkansas, and even lose in the first round or whatever round. They're actually past that automatically already in the SEC tournament, and none of it would actually change their standing of being an NCAA tournament team. Oklahoma, to me, and this is the difference between the way we have been talking about this, ensures to me they aren't on the 11 seed. They're just in the field. They're one of the 64 teams, not one of the 68 that have to still actually like do a little battle, because no one's going to blame you for a road loss against Arkansas or for whatever quality opponent you'll face in the SEC tournament.
I mean, they
could get all the way up to an 8 or a 9 though. Well, like decent run in the SEC tournament and win these next 2 games. They could get up there a little bit.
If they win tonight and upset Arkansas, they can finish 3rd in the SEC. They get finishing 3rd in conference play. They are currently behind Florida, Alabama, and Arkansas. They're tied with Kentucky and Tennessee at 10-6. So, in all reality, if they were to lose to Arkansas, they could end up finishing 6th. But they have the potential to be the 3rd best team in the SEC when the regular season is over. And not only does that guarantee you a tournament spot, but I agree with you. They theoretically could end up playing themselves into a better seed than we think. You just don't slip up tonight. Get yourself your 3rd win in a row. Oklahoma's not a good team. They're 15-14. They're not a tournament team.
Are they dogs though tonight, Missouri?
They
are 2.5 point underdog in Vegas.
What are we missing? Is somebody hurt that I don't know about?
I mean, I'm just letting you know.
Yeah. Are we missing something? Did we miss an injury or something? Hold on.
If I did, I didn't see it. They are a 2.5 point road dog, obviously, but that's still a pretty good swing against an Oklahoma team who Missouri is definitely better than.
I know there's no such thing as free money, but that seems like that's one of those that seems like a trap, because you're like, how the hell are they?
Public money, it appears, is on Oklahoma for whatever that's worth, but normally you would go the other way. Like, is Oklahoma basketball playing great?
I think some of it might be the home and away stuff.
Well, I mean,
Missouri's 5-5 on the road. Oklahoma's 10-5 at home.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, and I'm not saying that shouldn't have some impact on it. Oklahoma just beat LSU, just beat Auburn, lost at home to A&M, lost on the road to Tennessee.
I still find it fascinating that Auburn's even in the bubble conversation.
I just still disagree with the idea like Mizzou's not supposed to win tonight. I just call BS on them. I'm sorry. They're right now the fourth. They're the 4th best team in the SEC right now. They're taking on a below 500 or a 1 game above 500 Oklahoma team. This is a game. If you're Missouri, you should not lose this game tonight.
Yeah. Are we deciding as a show to bet Missouri plus 2.5 tonight?
I feel like I am now.
Bet Missouri to win the
but that's what scares me.
6 o'clock game kind of feels like maybe we're going to have to do that.
That's what scares me. It seems too obvious, and that's where they get you.
Somebody says one of my potential fill-ins could be Matt Biesler. He did beat me in a hot dog race once, so you can at least have 2 winners of a hot dog race. He won the hot dog championship, as it was, by underdog at that time. Yeah. But the Missouri end, I'm with you, Gold. This is the difference, and you and I have talked about this. When we talk, I think saying someone is a favorite can mean something both in a sports wagering sense and in a, like, just human being sense. Because there's a lot of sports wagering, we tend to put it to the odds, right? The odds say Missouri's not a favorite. They're an underdog tonight. But also, you and I agree. From a just like people, let's sit through, they're not an underdog. They're the better team. They are better than Oklahoma. They should be expected to win tonight. We shouldn't give Missouri, tomorrow on the show,
if they lose,
we shouldn't give Missouri a pass if they lose to Oklahoma on the road tonight. Look, they can lose a game at Oklahoma. They can lose lots of different games. That's not crazy.
There's a reason why Missouri has
we shouldn't just be giving them a pass for it, you know?
There's a reason why Missouri has been on the bubble a lot this year, because they are inconsistent. Maybe we are here tomorrow and we're like Vegas knew.
It did take a double buzzer beater to beat them at home.
Yeah, feels like this is one you're going to talk me into betting Missouri tonight, though, for sure.
Does it feel weird, you know?
I mean, I bet on Missouri before.
Okay.
College basketball this year also has just been kind of nuts.
Someone's right. It would be very Missouri to lose tonight, though. That is true.
Like when you could just like lock in your spot, feel comfortable, be safe, and then get in there.
A little bit of NFL news, sorry. Just to update as we get closer to the tag deadline. The Bengals, according to Adam Schefter, are not expected to tag Trey Hendrickson. So the Trey Hendrickson era is going to come to a close.
Use that money elsewhere.
In Cincinnati, Drew. You're no
Drew,
longer
I thought you wanted a franchise tag.
He would become an unrestricted free agent.
Tag and trade.
He immediately becomes the number 1 free agent target, I believe now.
I mean, he was never. This was their way of like, hey, does somebody want to trade for him? Because they were never going to find. And I said this from the beginning. Drew, you can back me up. I said from the very beginning. They're never going to franchise tag him for like $30 million and then find a trade partner. Like, that's a difficult ask. Really difficult.
I just wonder what his deal will be like if he's going to get paid, because he's 30 plus now.
I think he's in a 1-year deal for the Buffalo Bills for $20 million. Remember we just talked about it? They just did Von Miller and Bosa. They do the same thing. Somehow Trey Henderson will getting $20 million for one of those teams we mentioned earlier in the market for Max Crosby.
I think somebody's giving him a multi-year deal, guys.
He's like 31, isn't he?
I think he's getting a multi-year deal.
Which I think is that's the interesting thing. He's coming off a year in which Cody, he tried to play. He couldn't play.
No, he definitely
tried to go in the game and play and be holding his back. He had to leave.
He only made it 7 games this year.
Yeah,
but before
he's got to pass the physical, obviously. But I'm just saying, like, this is a guy.
Point, he'd been remarkably healthy.
17 and a half sacks 2 straight years prior to that. Had 4 last year, and even only 7 games that he did play.
Yes.
I think somebody will say, "We'll
That's
get
fair.
the difference to land him." They will give him a multi-year deal.
3 for 90 or something.
Or 2
for
60. I think 1-year deal. I'd be shocked.
Dallas can go ahead and take him. That's fine.
I mean, if I'm Dallas, it's like I still get to keep my picks, and all I got to do is spend money on a 2-year contract. Look, again, he's not Micah Parsons, but this is his run, Trey Henderson's run from 2020 to 2025 is a better run than Max Crosby's on from a sack perspective. Max Crosby's gotten double-digit sacks in 3 of the last 5 years. Yeah.
Or 2 years ago.
Yeah, and he had the exact same number of sacks the year before that at 17 and a half. Then 8 the year before, 14 and 13 and a half. That's a hell of a run. He's the kind of guy that he's a really terrible example of when people are like, hey, people can come around eventually and it'll all work out. They were playing him out of position in New Orleans, and then they brought him into Cincinnati and played him at the right position. He played linebacker in New Orleans and essentially was never a sack guy and barely got on the field.
Yeah, that might be hands down the best free agent signing they brought in.
Well, and
in a long time.
Credit not only just the free agent signing, the wise knowledge to know he could be a knuckles in the ground, outside edge defensive end. What they saw was that man can work somewhere else. He didn't get any sacks in New Orleans. He immediately became an instant pass rushing threat in Cincinnati. He got some sacks in his final year in New Orleans, but still, it was impressive that they made that call. But yeah, Trey Henderson, another available player.
Chiefs do need 3 for 70.
I will say,
is that what you're thinking, Gold? Ish.
The Chiefs do need pass rush help, so I don't want to ignore any free agent pass rusher
because he was wanting $30 million. That's what the whole thing around the Bengals and him was. He wanted $30 million a year.
But he knows now that his market might have changed because he's hurt. I'll say this: I don't think the Chiefs should not kick the tires on it. They have a pass rush problem, specifically at edge.
The Athletic projects, Drew, that he's getting a $99 million deal.
3 years.
Ooh.
This is not my projection. This
$33 million a year.
This is Athletic says projected to get $99 million.
Yeah, the Bengals were not willing to do that because the Bengals don't pay players plus 30.
He's going to get 3+ years on a deal. Yep. He's the number, guys. He's the number 1 free agent available, considering positional value.
I saw that the Vikings are willing to trade Jonathan Gennard.
The Ravens should sign him, Drew. That way he can play against Cincinnati twice a year.
Trey Henderson?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bengals' offensive line is better. I'd rather him not go to the Ravens. But yeah,
that's probably fair.
The Bengals' line is better. I saw that the Vikings were willing to trade Jonathan Gennard.
Yeah.
Day 2 pick expectations.
He'd be an interesting name to watch for the Chiefs.
I'd trade a 3rd-round pick in a heartbeat.
He'd be a
for
very
him.
good fit for Kansas City.
He didn't have as good of a year last year. I went and looked up his numbers. He had 12 sacks and 12 and a half the 2 years prior to last year.
He
didn't play in every game this year either.
He's someone to watch for the Chiefs potentially. Yeah. Only 3 sacks, as you said, a year ago, but
it's like
good double-digit production the 2 years prior.
Alex and I talk about this a lot. Free agent defensive ends who can get 15 sacks aren't on the market very often.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Henderson is technically that. So, like, I'm not saying they should or can't even afford to sign Trey Henderson. They should at least ask themselves if and can they. Like, it's one of those. I'm not saying they can or will, but I think it'd be kind of like a fool's errand not to at least sit in a meeting room.
Let me ask you this.
Cap-wise, can we afford it?
I don't think the Chiefs are getting him by any means.
I don't think so either.
If you're the teams we just mentioned last segment that Albert Breer is saying Max Crosby could get traded this week, and we talk about the Bears and we talk about the Rams.
I would just give Trey Henderson the money.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. Would you rather give up 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby or just sign Trey Hendrickson to a deal for 3 years?
Probably sign Trey Henderson.
Exactly. I think that's the correct answer.
Cody, if you're the Chiefs, I'll ask you guys, it's hypothetical, I guess, to both of you. If you could get Trey Hendrickson, but it took trading Trent McDuffie for a first, would you do it?
No.
You get the pass rusher, you get a first for Trent McDuffie.
So I don't give anything up for Henderson other than money in this hypothetical, right?
Correct.
But why do they have to be connected? I guess I'm confused. Why
can't I just give Jalen Watson?
Why are they?
Yeah.
Because I don't think you're able.
Because you don't have to pay. I guess the reason why I'm saying I don't think they're connected is they don't have to pay McDuffie for 3 years if they wanted to wait.
If they wanted,
so why is Trey Hendrickson impacting McDuffie? Well, no, meaning he's got the final year player option franchise tag. They don't have to pay McDuffie this year, so signing Hendrickson should not be why they trade McDuffie, I guess is what I'm saying.
This also puts defensive end way at the top of the list of Cincinnati's needs, by the way. A team that's picking one spot behind Kansas City. They should be praying Ruben Bates.
I don't think it is as much.
Why? They don't have any other pass rushers that are good.
That's where they got all that cap space for.
Oh, you're
They
saying
got
they're
all that cap
To
space.
sign who? To sign who?
But the best available pass rusher is the guy they just let go.
They got the cap space.
Who are they signing?
They also have the cap space to pay Max Crosby because, again...
So you would want them to give up 2 firsts for Max Crosby?
Oh, if they gave up number 9 and like next year's first for Max Crosby, sign me up.
Okay, that's what I was trying to figure
different.
But I think that if Ruben Bain's
You said
available,
cap
I think they
space,
could
but-
take him. But I also think that they don't... Last year, it was beyond just the pass rushing issues they had last year. And also, I think they'd want to give Miles Murphy more time to develop and also Shamar Stewart. They would take Caleb Downs if he's available, too.
Some other NFL news, smaller note here, not a household name, but surprising for a team that just had a great season. Adam Schefter reporting the Bears Pro Bowl center, part of that great offensive line last year.
Yeah.
Drew Dahlman has informed the team he's retiring at the age of 27. He left Stanford in 2021, and after 4 seasons at Atlanta and
What was
1
the
in
guy from
Chicago,
Stanford?
he has made the sudden, and they're very smart, sudden and surprising decision to retire. That's a big blow. All of a sudden, they need a center in Chicago.
Dahlman, had 2 years and $24 million remaining on his contract, including 9.5 fully guaranteed in 2026.
Walking away from a lot of money, too.
Yeah, he is. I'm just letting you know. But apparently, they've got to replace their center. And a Pro Bowl caliber one at that for an offensive line that took a huge step forward there in Chicago. That is surprising. He must just, there's no other answer. Typically, in this case, they're prioritizing health, mental health or physical health or both over playing football. He's like, well, I got enough money and a Stanford degree. I'll figure out a way to make that money last. Because I don't know what he's earned in his career gold, but it's not $0 either. You know?
You see this text.
Which one?
From the A1.
No, yeah.
Is it bad?
They even said they're joking. They're just trying to be funny. They said, you're disc jockeys, not general manager. Shut up and play some Pearl Jam. Kidding. Yeah. Drew Dahlman, career earnings.
Goodness.
Career earnings. Have a guess?
He probably only
You
signed
said what? He played...
5 years. 5 years.
20 million, maybe.
$25 million.
So, well, kudos to him.
Something about Stanford players and...
that's what I
stopping
said,
a
yeah.
little early.
Cole said they're smart. They'd like to keep their wits about them.
Risk assessment.
Uh-huh.
They would like
That's
to...
tough for the Bears, though. It doesn't save you that much money that he's retiring, and you can't find a Pro Bowl center on the street. So, you can't just instantly replace that person. It puts one more draft need up there. Although there is one... Isn't there a decently big-named free agent center this year?
Yes, from the Rams or the Ravens. I'm sorry. Right?
Yeah.
Linderbaum.
Yep.
Tyler Linderbaum.
Yeah. So maybe they're in the market for that. I was like, there is a decent free agent center available, but that is stunning. That'd be crazy if Creed Humphrey retired at 27. It's not way different, right? Sign a big contract.
Yeah.
Be like if Creed Humphrey just hung it up. He hypothetically
be a problem.
had 8 more
be a big
years.
problem for them.
Yeah, probably.
Be a big problem.
You think?
Yeah.
Feels like it'd be a bit of an issue. But I guess congrats to him in his retirement if he's happy about it. What's funny is did you even know who Drew Dahlman was before this moment?
No.
It's not like I pay attention. I don't know any other centers in the league. Who's the Bengals center?
Ted Karras.
That name's been around for a bit.
Yeah, that has been around a little while.
Yeah, he's been there.
I also saw, you know what? This is a good time since we're wrapping up the show.